Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. One single solitary man, acting alone, with dexterity.
Huh?
I said, what after?
It's a house!
You know, that's just one step above stupid. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
There it is. All right. Almost kind of worked that time. All right, how's it going, everybody? Not sure if the audio was working for you guys, but let's see. Did I have audio? How was did the music even play? Because I have echo cancellation on. I'm sure the audio is probably better now without echo cancellation. One single solitary man acting alone with dexterity. Yes, and you single solitary females out there, use your dexterity, like Bella said, and hit that like button. Anyways, I put out a video earlier today and hardly anybody watched it. See, it's just one of those weird algorithm things. It doesn't get into the groove. You know, really strange. Really strange. Every time I hear Murdoch say it's a house, yep.
It's a house!
Let's see. Yeah. I mean, when I say nobody, I mean, you know, I'm talking about, it's got like 3,000 views. Normally you get like 15. So it just got crushed, you know. I think it's kind of up to you guys. Hit the like button and share the videos and stuff like that. Doesn't seem to happen. Right. There you go. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you guys should get notified on Twitter, because I have a Twitter account, and I always go there and I post the video. So if you don't get your YouTube notification, you get it there. I also have Facebook groups that I put them in, and that's right. Hello. And yes, everybody, this is just like any other night. I think I'm going to send some more money in tonight, though, to the Libby Abbey ballpark. You know, you guys were so generous yesterday. I think I'm going to send another 500 into the Libby Abbey ballpark. So hell, we could just do that now. And if you guys want to help support the channel, that'd be great too. But if not, it'll just be back to the way it was. Yeah, I was just telling the jury they got it right. The jury doesn't need to worry about, like, these idiots are trying to, like, who got to that one? There must have been one holdout. I think it's juror number 6. I mean, there's this psycho YouTuber out there almost trying to dox these people. You know, like, what happened to jury number 6? Who convinced them? What happened? It's just like every other time people are in the jury, you know? It doesn't matter how they got convinced or anything. You know, maybe they went in there and there was 11 to 1. The one was like, I'm not really sure yet. You know, I need to, you know, we need to look at some more stuff. And then eventually the person said, yep, I agree. It's not that complicated, you guys. That means there was 11 people who we're immediately convinced because it's obvious. So you got these, there was this panel I was watching earlier. They're so embarrassing. Just, oh God, if we can get this juror number 6, they can let us know, and then we can somehow get them to say what happened, and then I mean, why? Are you kidding me? Seriously. Oh, I forgot to put that in there. Alright, there you go, you guys. Gonna send it in, hold on. I got to log in over here. Let's see, add a note in memory of Abby and Libby. Let's see, what was yesterday? 11/11/2024 was the day. Boom. There we go. That's pretty cool. Thanks, my 2 cents. And there we go. We just sent that in right there. That just came through. And let me get to my email. Thank you, Vanessa Dance. Oh, and thanks, Cash App from Chrissy. Let's see. Chrissy Reese. Thank you. So we just got that in. What does it say? Well, here's the PayPal, or not the PayPal, well, yeah, the PayPal receipt. See it right there? Just came in. November 12th, 2024, Abby and Libby Ballpark. And there was we put a message on it. So there you go. So we've given them 1,000 already this month and 1,835 last month. And then thousands and thousands in the years prior. But that doesn't mean anything to the trolls out there. That thank you. Let's see. I got this screen over here. Like that. My 2 cents. Thank you. And then Vanessa Dance. And then we've got it is Amy Darcy Marie. Darcy Marie. Okay. You've been around a long time. And it says, cheers for common sense. Justice finally for Abby and Libby. Isn't it amazing? I think it's shocking how little... See, the thing is, there was a panel early this evening on this, you know, the guy that we played yesterday that was like, he freaked out on the show. He had a panel over there, and guess who was on there? Julie Melvin. She was the one that said that there were forceps in the bridge guy's pockets, and he was going to perform an abortion on, I think she said, Abby on the other side of the bridge. And these lunatics they're all just in this cult of Richard Allen. The Richard Allen and his innocent cult. I mean, it's so embarrassing. It's just, these are people likely that have mental issues, that they, are searching for something in their lives. And then finally there was something that really spoke to them. Freeing a double killer of 2 children. Man, that's what I'm always looking for, aren't you guys? When you're sitting around, you know what would really make me feel good about myself? And these guys are sick people. And the leaders of the cult are the defense attorneys out there. Because they're explaining things in a way, like that. They have this aura like they're more educated and smarter than the people that they're talking to. So these people are listening going, wow, this is so great. Burkhart's a scary person, if you ask me. Absolutely scary. Hey, thanks, Lillian. She's a scary person. Because when you listen to her, besides the fact that they can't think their way out of a shoebox, the stuff that they're saying is scaring, you know, making people think, oh my God, man, you're really onto something here. Yeah, man, Richard Allen, he got screwed. Man, it's weird. It's weird when you watch it. If you watch it for like 15 or 20 minutes in a row, but when you're done listening, you're shocked at the idiocy. It's embarrassing. Hey, Lori Atkinson, I'm going to disparage them. It's not because they disagree. It's because they're tricking people. They're being absolutely intellectually dishonest with you, and you're one of the suckers that believed exactly what they are saying. You are an embarrassment. Let's see. No, it's crazy to have 10,000 people watching absolute garbage. I mean, it scares the hell out of me. I watch it, and I'll tell you what's more, it's almost in disbelief, is the number of people in the chat that just zipping by. It's so glorious, and you're so right, and she's wrong, completely incorrect in the case. They act like it's shut. You know, like, I'll tell you one of the things I saw today. It's even in the larger media, you know, like Law and Crime and other places like that. They have the same type of nutty people in there. What's going on? They're titled today in one of their videos. You know what it said? It said, "A shocking verdict in the Delphi case." What do you mean it was shocking? What do you mean? Well, who's shocked? I mean, look at rational-minded people who use common sense. Didn't find it shocking at all. It was just like, oh yeah, you know, good. Finally, I mean, I was shocked that it wasn't a hung jury by a not guilty fanatic. You know, one of the people that might have listened to a Burkhardt or somebody like that prior, or a Bob Motta prior to the trial. You know, they might have believed some of it. There's more to it, man. There's these Odinists out there. Right. Well, none of the Odinists were ever connected. Right? What do you mean he looks guilty to me? I don't give a shit if somebody looks guilty. It's the facts of the case prove it, you know? Yeah, that means absolutely nothing, Tom Dallas. Your comment sounds like almost ridiculous. Well, g'day. There's a big YouTube channel that I lost all respect for because of her coverage of this. Just use a few brain cells. I mean, seriously, guys, when I was going over this case on a daily basis, did you guys not just absolutely understand? Like, oh, wow. And by the way, I almost never even mention Sarah Carbaugh and her sighting. It's meaningless. Sometimes I even forget to mention the bullet shell. It's just it's one of those things. Like, you could actually get rid of the bullet shell, and the fact that he admits that he was right there, took him across, and there was a white van driving by. Oh wait, I gotta adjust our numbers over here. Hold on. I forgot last time. Alright, so let's get to the... Hey, it's Herbert Landscaping. Thank you. Alright. So I guess we gotta update the... Grand total is now 221,500. And by the way, I need your guys' support every single night on a nightly basis. So we have 659 people watching. This is how the channel makes income on the live streams, is from your generosity and your support. Without it, we're not able to do any of this stuff. Alright, so there we go. We've got the 221,500, and then this year so far, 42,000. Nice. All right. Very cool, very cool. All right. Let's see, why do you watch all those channels though? Because I want to see what they're saying. I just can't believe it. It's scary. Why do you watch them? I mean, isn't that an obvious question? This is the industry that I'm in. And the people are embarrassing, and they are creating chaos in something that should be absolutely obvious and simple. Should be kind of simple to wonder about, Upstate Queen. You almost sound like a troll yourself. Almost kind of dumb. Let's see. It is Amy Darcy Marie. Hey, thanks again. And then On the Trail Kim. Let's see. Will you cover Coburg? Oh, of course. I'm not sure why you're asking that. It's just mentioned on the last 3 shows in a row. I've been covering Koberger for, since the beginning. Like the night, that, maybe it was a couple days after the homicide, because it was kind of kept quiet for a while. And then we covered it all the way through, got until there was an arrest made, and then the probable cause document is just as damning, if not more, than the Delphi case. I mean, there's some differences in there. Some differences. I mean, in the Koberger case, he doesn't admit to driving right near the house that night. He just admits to driving around. But there's this white Elantra that keeps driving and making loops around the house. And then on the last loop, it parks at 408. And then we know that because it makes this loop, and then at 420, the same vehicle leaves at a high rate of speed. So that means during that 12-minute period of time, a knife sheath was left in the house that had touch DNA on the buckle of a knife sheath that was left there. And it led back to a familial match, originally to the father of Brian Koberger. And then that led to a search warrant that they were able to do a buckle swab, and then that buckle swab matched the DNA that was on the knife sheath to a number that really isn't even comprehensible to humans. On the kid, and then we got Yorkshire Tea. Loved earlier video. Well done, Grace, she said. And then Rebecca Nolan. And then, Rebecca Nolan. That was, it says super sticker on it. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why everybody should just realize it. When you're over there listening and really like, ooh, there's something wrong with you. I mean, it's so weird. I've been saying this for years on all these other cases. It's the same shit over and over and over. It's wild. Every time there's a case, there's a group of people who intentionally ignore the probable cause information and information that's out there, and it's just like an industry of sort of counter whatever the police say, instead of just looking at it and going, wow, this actually makes sense, Who is Andrea person? Who cares? It doesn't matter, Karen. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to tell you. Let's see. True Crime with Frank Meister's in the house. It's kind of a weird feeling, isn't it? I guess there's a lot more to go. We still got the sentencing, and then I'm sure there'll be appeals and court. I just hope that it, some of this newer stuff coming up is televised. There's no reason you can't televise the sentencing, right? Mm-hmm. Right. No, they didn't. Don't trip, Dick. You're an idiot. Okay, they didn't. You're just believing what these morons are telling you. Yeah. You're just wrong. Yeah, well, we explained the auxiliary in and out. We explained that the auxiliary input and output is really like the phone never moved again. So doesn't it make more sense that it was water or dirt? The phone just sat there. Do you think he reached under there using the precision of a surgeon and poked in underneath there and plugged in the jack just to see if there was something on there that he could listen to, but he never moved the phone. Yeah. God, these people are just no common sense. There you go again. The jury obviously realized that too. And the people, the Odinist people they were comparing to, nothing. Yeah. They couldn't place any of them at the crime scene. Just a little like innuendo here and an innuendo there. Oh, they must be it. Richard Allen answered every single question that law enforcement had in their investigation. They virtually just needed to know the name of the person and see if that person fit. And this person fit every single thing. That's what I said in the video earlier. Yeah, I hope to God the Patties sue the living crap out of these YouTubers that went after Kelsey. I actually downloaded all their videos just so that even if they try to like scrub them off, I've got them, and I'll give them to them. They're just disgusting. Hundreds of thousands of views. You can't do that. You can't debate a person like Rick Snay because he's a conspiracy theorist. And every time he says something, you can't disprove a conspiracy, right? So then it's like you're just having this, you can't do it. Rick Snay is not intelligent. I know he likes to tell everybody he's so bright and smart. A smart person would have realized that Richard Allen was absolutely guilty and would have been more like talking about, well, I think it's probably going to be found guilty, but maybe a hung jury. This guy was all in. Ew, he's not guilty. Ooh. A crazy person, right? Well, we're getting crushed tonight, you guys. We're only at 20% of just a normal crappy night goal. So if you guys have the ability to, it'd be great to help support the channel so we can keep doing all the great stuff that we do at the end of the month, etc. Instead of having just like hold the brakes completely on a night. The video I put out earlier did terrible, so that's not going to help. Yeah, you can't debate crazy people. Doesn't work. Yeah, it's bizarre. Bizarre behavior. He's literally like screaming out loud, we're all Richard Allen, everybody. If you allow this to happen to Richard Allen, it's going to happen to the rest of us. Yeah. Yeah, she's that channel, that Truth and whatever. She always does a conspiracy angle, but I think what's sad and sort of demoralizing for people like me is that people like me who put out the factual information in order and then actually figure out what the hell's going on, we get crushed financially in every single way by the conspiracy nutters who put out absolutely garbage information, factually garbage. I've seen it. I've actually seen, like in the Koberger case, some of the stuff that they put out, I can factually tell, like in that case, she believed, this Truth person, she believed that in the Koberger case, that the sorority of one of the girls killed all of them. That's how stupid that person is. I mean, are you kidding me? And she kept doing video after video. Oh, look at the way that one's looking at so. If you want to follow something like that, you go right ahead. But that's what's terrible is, if you have a channel that literally puts out the factual information, people get bored. They're like, yeah, I need some juice here. Where is it? Hey, thanks, Squizzy Cow. Man, that's going to be a long one tonight. Let's see. Squizzy Cow and Wendy Van Rocco. Hey, canoe was used. Don't know what that means. What does that mean? Get rid of that. I don't even know what that comment means. Get rid of comments that don't make sense, you guys. What does a canoe have to do with anything? Miss Burkhart will put you in your place. Oh, she can't do. She's nuts. Okay, she's a nutty person. You know, just looking with teary eyes into the screen, like wow, it's so shocking, everybody. You know, I've pretended he was innocent this whole time to all of you people. I was selling you guys a bunch of garbage for weeks and weeks. And now it comes back, it's 12-0. Jesus. Wow. Hey, thanks, Long Island Hillbilly. Feels guilty. There were too many coincidences. There wasn't any, I wouldn't even call them coincidental. They're just, there is what it is, you know. And then Megan Holiday, thank you. You know, I don't care what she has to say either. She's not, I mean, I've listened to her for about 20 minutes one time, and you just see her, she's just working through about all the issues. Okay, they wouldn't let all the evidence be shown at trial. And what, you know what they're referring to? The Odinist crap. Why should that be allowed at trial? The investigators looked into all of that stuff and ruled it all out. And what happened was they realized they couldn't place Ron Logan at the scene. He just lives on the property. They realized they couldn't place Keegan Klein at the scene. So then they thought, well, if we do the Odinist thing, we can, sort of allude to them being at the scene by a comment or two made and a picture of somebody with branches, etc. Hey, thank you so much, Kimberly Faith. Hey, maybe we can get if I turn it on just in time, will that work? Yep, maybe we'll get it. Let's see. It's weird, it's orange over here. That's usually the different one. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Right. They were trying to go after people that there was no proof of anything, and there's just no proof at all. I mean, so what they want you to believe is, since there's no DNA from one person, that if there was a bunch of other people there, that there should have, that explains no DNA better? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, thank you. What happened? It just disappeared. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you guys can send in super chats that have questions or comments in them that we can talk about. It's kind of fun being able to do that recently. This StreamYards makes it a little easier to do that because they stay there. You know, like after the show is over, they're all sitting in this little queue, and you can literally go over them all again. You know, it was funny. I was wondering the other day. I hadn't thought of it before. But Richard Allen was working at a pharmacy. You know, wouldn't that be interesting if they didn't test for the girls being drugged some way at one point, and that's why they were unconscious, and they never even checked for needles or we didn't see anything like that.
Allen was parked at the CPS lot for 2.5 hours, but no witnesses saw.
He wasn't a pharmacist, but he worked there.
He didn't park there, or they got the wrong guy. Sarah Carver is a very bad witness.
Yeah, I don't care about Sarah Carver. Allen was parked at the CPS lot for 2.5 hours, but no witness saw a black compact car parked there. He didn't park there, or they got the wrong guy. No, well, he did park there, though. That's the thing. The witnesses, you know how it works. We've explained it 100,000 times on the show. When you have witnesses, they don't remember things quite right. But they remember it kind of like a sloped back and everything like that. And that's just the way it is. Richard Allen said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. They see on the Hoosier Harvest Store camera a black Ford Focus with the same type of rims, and there's only one of those in the entire area, not just Delphi, but in the area, right? So he says he's there at 1:30 to 3:30, and yes, we've all talked about their descriptions many, many, many times. Yes, one of them says like a smart car, which is, you know, has that sloped back, slanted back, and the girls at the bench at 126, they leave and they see him coming in. He actually admits to being the person who parked his car there. Now, you could almost say that okay, he parked somewhere else. You know, like he didn't park at the abandoned CPS building. You could actually say that. And the story is still the same. That he drove by the Hoosier Harvest Store, he parked his car somewhere over there, then he walked onto the Freedom Bridge and he passed those three girls. Yeah? That's just the reality. The sightings at the CPS and the way they describe it isn't really incredibly important. You know? That's one of the other elements to me. It's like, yeah, okay. He parked over there somewhere because he said he walked onto the Freedom Bridge and then he passed the three girls. So like all these defense attorneys out there are trying to make it, ooh, well maybe he parked it. Okay, good. He parked across the road. He still got there at 1:30 to the bridge and he passed the three girls. They saw him and he saw them, and we see his car driving by the Hoosier Harvest Store, so he likely parked in this area. You think he drove by here and then drove around like this and then drove up to this parking and then parked there and then he goes over here? I mean, that's a possibility, right? So let's say, how about this? Forget that. Let's pretend he didn't park at the abandoned CPS building and he drove by the Hoosier Harvest Store here at 1:27 and he goes around like this, and then 2 minutes later he pulls up, he drives right like this and goes up this back side road right here, and then he parks here. This is the parking spot. Then he gets out and he crosses the Freedom Bridge, the Freedom Bridge, and then passes the girls again right around 1:33, 1:34, 1:35, something like that. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, it doesn't really matter if he parked at the abandoned CPS building or not. I think he did, and I think their descriptions are just different. I mean, even when I was on the show with Vinny the other day, he says, I had mentioned, I go, you know, people's descriptions are just different. Eyewitness accounts, he goes, and then he quickly covered his tie, and then he said, what color's my tie? And I had no idea. I wasn't paying attention at all. And it's like, there you go. That's it. Nothing will convince you otherwise of what? Missy 6. I don't know who you're talking to. No, that's not what you're doing. You come in here, be doing your little troll shit, and then yes, of course. Right. Doesn't make anybody feel better. It sucks that there's people like you. That's what's the part that feels bad. Yeah. Now don't forget who said he parked at Miller Park Trailhead and said Mata would, yeah, there you go. Right, that's what I was kind of talking about. Stuff like that. I'm just waiting for everybody to break this all down, man. You got it all nailed, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so anyways, the vehicle parked at the abandoned CPS building, I think it is his car, but if he drove around just like I said and parked at the other spot, then he'd be across the bridge probably just a couple minutes later. Makes sense. But that is his vehicle that drove by the Hoosier Harvest Store, because it matches exactly what he said. Verified by the 126 timestamp by the girls. He's always thinking about abduction. Man, the chat's just going by so fast. I think it's hard to see it. Jeez. Got another one of those long lulls again, you guys. Long lulls. This is when it's hard to... Well, there's Herbert Landscaping with something. All right. 5 memberships. Look at that. We got one to the Saint, Mindy, and no Cindy J again. Oh, Cindy J is one. Okay. You must have figured out that $1.99. You figured out how to do it? What did that say? Do you believe what? Believe you. Richard Allen, you did it, huh? Not sure who you're talking to. Hey, thanks, Rhonda Pierce. Let's see. Yeah, this is getting hard to... You guys, the comments are crazy in here. I don't know. I'm not doing the Keegan yet. That's like the next half. I just want to talk about the Colt. I don't know, Melissa. People just like it. Yeah, I guess I need to slow it down, don't I? It's crazy. It's like almost like a sexual... I mean, these people are it's crazy. I don't know what the hell's going on in here. Just slow down a little bit, you know? But now I have to actually put slow-mo on here. No, you know, the cult of Richard Allen is... you know, innocent group, you know, they just, it's like literally a cult, you know. I mean, I think it's exactly the same thing. You got these people that seemingly are educated telling all of these people who want, and somehow there's this massive group of people who want a double child killer to get off. And they'll say, no, we don't, Gray. We just want a fair trial. No, you don't. You believe in your mind that Richard Allen is innocent, and he just isn't. He begged the family. He begged them, his family, his mom, his wife, etc., to just please believe him that he killed Abby and Libby, and they just wouldn't do it. I've never seen anything like it, actually. Have you? I mean, that much of just begging them. And not only that, again, he answered every single question. You know? Before Richard Allen was even arrested, I'll just say what I said on the video in a short way, I guess. Before Richard Allen was ever arrested, they wanted to know who the person that was parked at this building was, because they believe that's the same person who walked by the 4 girls here. 3 of them are witnesses. Then they also believe that that person is the same person that Betsy Blair saw on the trails. You know, on the bridge, actually, standing on platform 1. The same platform. Well, I'll just say that. She saw somebody standing on platform 1. They knew that. They had all that information. They also know that when Betsy Blair turned around, she passed Abby and Libby over in this area. And then Abby and Libby would then run into the person who likely killed them, because the description that Betsy Blair had was that it was a little different when she gave it out, like, you know, poofy brown hair or whatever. But then she said that the person she saw was the person in Libby's video. So then you know that Abby and Libby are going to run into that person, right? So this is the logic they were using. So think of it like that. That's the logic they were using. They knew when Kelsey drove by, and they knew when Betsy Blair got there, and they knew that the timing would be that it worked out that Betsy Blair was ahead of Abby and Libby, and then when she turned around, she necessarily would pass them. Right? So they knew all that. They also had a bullet from the crime scene. They had that. They just stored it. And they also had Libby's video, which is essential in the case. And in that video, it shows the same person that Betsy Blair and the 3 girls saw, and it shows that that person was was coming after the girls and tells them to go down the hill, and they knew from the start that that person is responsible for their deaths, and they just didn't know who the person was. Then lo and behold, years later, on September 21st, I believe, 2022, the old tip was discovered, and it led to a guy named Richard Allen. In the process of looking into Richard Allen and talking to him, Richard Allen is the guy that parked here at the abandoned CPS building. Richard Allen is the person that these three girls saw right here. Richard Allen is the person that Betsy Blair saw right here. Then Betsy Blair sees Abby and Libby. They go this direction. Therefore, they're running into Richard Allen right here. Then Richard Allen is the guy in the video walking across the bridge. Because nobody saw him again after that. Like Betsy Blair didn't see him. She cleared the area. And then right here, the video shows Richard Allen taking him down the hill. In his own words, he said that he followed the girls across the bridge. He ejected a bullet. He had him go down the hill. And then he was going to assault them in this corner right down here. And then a white van drove by right here on this road. He saw it, and it turns out Brad Weber's van would be driving by right at that time. And he then forced the girls across the creek where he killed them. And he then made, he wanted to make sure that they didn't suffer, he said. But he was also being selfish. He killed them so that he wouldn't get caught. And then he covered them with branches and he left. Isn't that incredible, you guys? Like, he answered every damn question that there ever was. Now, that description right there was definitely super chat worthy, don't you think? Because we just had about 200 comments go by with not one where you can put your comment on the screen and we can read it. Right, so Richard Allen answered every single question. Name another person that you could find that they too parked at the abandoned CPS building, that they too walked by the three girls, that they too walked by Betsy Blair, also said that they walked across the bridge. They were on the bridge that day on a Monday at 1:30. Why? Because I raised money on the channel to support the channel. Little old me. That's how it works here. I want to raise funds on the channel. I say it every single night. And that's what I do here. And it allows me to do all the stuff that we do at the end of the month and for me to keep going. All right, I've explained it 100 times. I think you're just doing a troll $1.99 comment there. And the moderators didn't catch it again. Hey, thanks, CR Unique's Take. All right. Yeah. And those are the kind of comments that try to destroy the funding that comes in. Because I tell you guys are the sole responsible. If you like the way I do the show, then the super chats is the way to go, or you become a channel member, something like that, because there is no ad revenue on these shows when they're done. They always say, they give you the little yellow symbol. Every other true crime creator knows what I'm talking about. It's just the way it is. And if you don't want to help the channel, you don't have to. Nobody has to give me a nickel. All right? They all know it, too. The people who have been around a long time, they don't have to give me anything. Yeah. Hey, thanks so much, Carolina T. And by the Carolina T made all that cool. I'm not sure. Right behind the UFO there. I haven't seen that in a long time. Look at... She made that painting back there of blue in the background. It's pretty sweet. Chewbacca?
Chewbacca?
And thanks, Troll. I think you helped me out there.
Works like this.
It says, "You are correct, sir. Love your work." And then we had works like this. Boom.
Chewbacca?
Thanks, Herbert Landscaping. And then Hillbilly Belinda.
If RA,
Here we go.
God forbid, gets a new trial, all the prosecutor needs to ask is, in the last 5 years since Alan has been in jail, has he ever ate poop again? No? Okay. Case closed.
That one's pretty good. I gotta give you credit for that. And then we got Andrew James. And then...
You've seen the crime images. In my opinion, it was staging, as the FBI said in their Ron Logan search warrant. Any thoughts?
You've seen the crime images. In my opinion, it was staging. As the FBI said in their Ron Logan search warrant. Yeah, I mean, they've said that. You know,
As he
there
brought
was
Rock's
staging
brother
there.
and a gun, do you think he planned to kill them from the start?
Here, let me, if I turn that off, I can, there you go. Yeah, so let's just do, I'll just read these. We got, Hillbilly Belinda said if Richard Allen, God forbid, got a new trial, all the prosecutor needs to ask is, in the last 5 years since Allen has been in jail, has he ever ate crap again? No? Okay. Case closed. Well, no, because they're going to treat him so much better now. You get it, right? He's going to be treated great, and he won't want to eat the crap anymore. Yeah. You've seen the crime scene images. In my opinion, it was staging, as the FBI said in the Ron Logan search. Yeah, I think the staging was that Libby was dragged to a different location. It could have been that the branches were staging, right? Could be. But it also just could be that the branches were, he was in the process of building like a little, you know, like you put a larger branch and then smaller ones like this and then was going to cover them with leaves. But he got interrupted again because I think Cheyenne on the bridge and her friends were talking and the wind was blowing right to the crime scene so they could hear them, and he probably got he could hear them, and he probably got scared at that point. But yeah, I mean, it could just be that he was trying to, I don't know. I don't know what the staging portion would be with the sticks, though. It doesn't. It's just confusion, I guess. I don't know. Long Island Hillbilly, because he brought a box cutter and a gun, do you think he planned to kill them? Yeah, I do. I think he was going to kill them no matter what. I think his statement saying he was selfish. Listen to this part. When he said he was selfish, he was trying to protect himself. That's why he killed him. That would be in existence regardless of being scared or anything. Like, let's say, you know, oh, I got surprised and I took the body, you know, took them across the creek, right? That's, you know, he would have had to kill them regardless because of that statement. It actually implies that that's outside of that realm. It has nothing to do with him being surprised or anything. Because he brought a box cutter and a gun, do you think... Yeah, that was weird he did that one. Let's see. And look at that. We got CR's Unique Take just gifted a membership. And then Wendy Van Rokel. Thanks, CR's Unique Take. It used to be just CR. You made it much more complicated for me. Wendy Van Rokel, the gag order Judge Gould put on the case. Does it only cover the jurors? No, the family members and everybody can't speak until... I don't know about the jurors, though. But I do know that they can't... The family can't speak until after the sentencing on December 20th. I'm not sure about the jury, though. Yeah, that's a good question there. If they can talk, why can't the family talk? You know what I mean? I mean, those guys... I mean, I don't know. I mean, they don't know any more than... They know as just as much as the family knows at this point. Finally, Justice for Libby and Abby by K. Me. Then we've got Sunshine Susie said, they do not deter this group. Justice for Abby and Libby. Yeah. And then Molly... Stop giving the douchebags views. Thank you, GHI, for always speaking the truth. I agree. I don't understand. It's so disheartening to me, you know. I think it was funny. I think it was, who said that? Somebody said QAnon of YouTube, you know. It's like, that's what they are. It's crazy. How do you get, and see, the thing is, it was 12-0, right? And they're acting like, who got to them? Who got to them? Nobody did. They actually listened and looked through the facts and went through it. Common sense got to them. I think the only people in that courtroom, if you just went like this and you grabbed 50 people and brought them into that courtroom that never heard of this case, I bet you now they actually restored my faith in common sense. I just think there's a lot of people out there that have no common sense. And they all sort of pack together. You know, they follow each other like I don't know, like an amoeba to the next, ooh, yay! You know, it's weird. I mean, I think it's common sense maybe is still common. However, the people with no common sense like to sort of engage with each other, let's say. And you get thousands of them piling in, wanting to believe any kind of conspiracy. But I bet you if you brought 100 random people and they were able to watch that same trial, it would be something like, there was no sort of pressure on you, and you have to vote what you really believe. I think it would be like 92-8, something like that. And that's but you get in the room and other people start talking through it with you, then the other 8 would go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I got you. Boom, right? Doesn't that make sense? But when you have a courtroom filled with these defense attorneys that have all their little buddies that come follow, and they're in there and they're packed in there, then the courtroom is like, if you did the same voting on the courtroom that was in this trial, it would probably be like 40-60, guilty to not guilty, because there's so many sitting in there. But the truth is they never took the time. The honest to God truth is none of these people took the time to map out and figure out exactly what we're looking at. And they never did it. And that's why, even when I went on court TV yesterday, I was on there for an hour and 45 minutes, by the way. Can you believe that? I didn't have any idea it was that long. It was an hour and 45 minutes. That time went by so fast. And there was one time where I'm smiling inappropriately, but that's when I heard in the background that there was a guilty verdict. So it looked like I was smiling at some other thing that they were talking about. But, you know, people with common sense could probably figure that out. And then one time I was smiling because my phone kept going off, and then I felt embarrassed, so I smiled again. Sorry for smiling, everybody. I know it's a hideous thing to do, but I did. And, you know, I appreciate, Susan Hendricks was really cool to me during this. Like, we actually talk for like an hour sometimes about the case and things. And she has so much sort of backroom drama stuff. It's interesting. Really cool person. And, I got to know Lauren a little bit, like texting and back and forth. Came on the show that one time. And so, you got to admit, like, she, whether or not, like, I think she took notes and her assistant that she has takes notes. And they were able to put together a much more comprehensive daily review of the case, So that was awesome. And maybe I'll get to work with them again or something like that or work with them. We haven't worked together, but maybe on the Idaho 4 case, because I know that one really well and have really cool graphics and things like that. Why did he do it? Because he was a sex addict. Yeah. And he drank, and I think he went home, he drank, he got all buzzed up, and he was out there ready to go. And he admitted that he killed the girls because he was going to sexually assault them. So every answer was made here. We learned that Richard Allen went there. It was a sexually motivated crime. He just wasn't able to finish because the van drove by. Maybe, I don't know what, I think the stories that he's telling, the van gave away that he was there. But I think he's leaving out stuff. And I wish the psychologist had actually asked more questions a little bit, get deeper in there, but maybe you don't want to do that. I don't know. Yeah, and I really do appreciate Court TV for having me on such a big moment, because I've been covering the case since the night they were missing, and that was cool, you know. So I gotta give him. And then Vinny's a good guy, you guys. It's tough for Vinny though because he has to. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he covered. They whatever they do, they have like 80 cases they're doing, and he has to know about them all, and it's really difficult. I mean, I can't imagine. We do different cases every single day, but we kind of work through them together. Yeah, but he's a really nice person too. You know, we all remember the time where he kind of read a super chat that a troll put out there, and he kind of responded badly. Wasn't done. He'd never had that before because he was new to YouTube. So we all figured all that out. So, and I like that they gave me the chance. Remember when we did the Idaho 4 and I went through and I showed all the surveillance camera stuff? And that show, we meticulously went through it. And that was just amazing. Like, finally, there was a show. I even told him when he said, hey, you want to come on? I go, listen, Vinny, we got to do it like this. Okay? And then he actually called me up and then we worked through it, you know? He's like, oh, wow, okay, here we go, boom, boom. And then it was good on there. So I like that. That was cool. I started, I thought differently about him. I used to be, harsher on him in the past. A long time ago, I'd be like, oh, man, Jesus. Because they just don't have time, so there's a reason. So they don't know the little tiny details all the time that we know that would make something they said not accurate. Will you present your timeline map evidence to the prosecutor? Well, it's not. They already have that evidence. It's not really evidence, but I think it's a better way to show it. And I think that they need to do something like that where they use Betsy Blair's Fitbit information, exactly where she was moving around at what times, and then work that in with Abby and Libby. They got there and where she saw the girls when she passed. And I mean, if I had their information, I could make something that was amazing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and Frank Meister's pretty cool dude, man. I forgot to mention him. Like, you call him up and he'll say, "Oh yeah, dude, man," He'll tell you what's going on. He went to like every single hearing. He went to the trial. He wasn't able to go to the whole thing, but he's been to every hearing over the years since Richard Allen was arrested, and so that's really cool that he did that. Let's see. Hey, guess what? I'm going to give 5 memberships myself. Here we go. And yes, I have to pay the $25 just like you guys. And here we go. Who's going to get them? Who's going to get them? Let's see. Carly with an I. Libby C. Laura Trini. Debbie L. and Jen K. all got memberships. Very cool. Thank you so much. Andrew Dreams, what's the time gap between when the 3 girls saw Bridge Guy and when Betsy Blair spotted the guy? See, that's what I don't know what time that law enforcement believes, but I know this, that they saw him. Well, he parks his car here at about like 1:28 or so, right? So that means he might have sat in his car, sort of got ready. Maybe he had another beer. Who the hell knows? Right here in his car. And then he walks out, and it took me 3.5 minutes to walk over here. So he might be over here at like 1:32, right here. So he sees the girls at 1:32, and it takes 11 minutes. I used to think it was like 1:35. It could still be 1:35. I don't know, but 1:32. And then one time I heard at trial that he said he sat at a bench that overlooks the water. That's right here. And then he went to the bridge. Well, Betsy Blair, when she got there, would see him sitting there. Didn't see him. So that means if he sat at the bench, it might have been 2 or 3 minutes. And then he goes, because right there he might have been waiting for prey. And then, so let's just forget that part though. 1:32, and then Betsy Blair gets here at 1:46. Gets out of her car at 1:47. Takes about 7 or 8 minutes to walk from here to the bridge, and so that would make it like 1:53 to 1:54. But I thought I heard something that somebody said Betsy Blair got to the bridge at 2 o'clock. I mean, yeah, 2 o'clock. So I don't really know, but it's really a short amount of time. It's I would say what was that, 22 minutes or so, 20 minutes. Does that make sense? Are there any intersecting trails where a different person could egress, or not really? There's a trail there's a trail right here. The 505 trail goes down like this. Right, so you'd have to believe that Richard Allen walks by like this, and then he goes down, but he didn't do that. He said he went to the bridge. You get what I'm saying? So Richard Allen, I get what you're saying, Andrew, but Richard Allen himself debunks any of those things, because he said he walked to the bridge, and he's right here. So he's standing on platform 1, and then he also said he saw these 3 girls. So if he went down here, and then he went back up or something like that, he would have been seen. It just doesn't work, you know. Like Betsy Blair was walking by and would have seen him. And he never said he went down another trail. He just said he went to the bridge and he looked at fish. So, yeah, it was a good question, though. It was a good question. Makes you think a little bit. When are you going to start back on Koberger? I'm in Indianapolis and I have followed that case closely. I don't know. I was thinking pretty soon. You know, we got to keep, you know, we're sort of on Delphi, winding down, you know, talking about stuff. But, yeah, pretty soon. Pretty soon. I think I'm just going to start over again with everything. With the probable cause again. And then we'll go through the videos that we have of the surveillance camera driving around. There's other camera. There's one other camera footage that we have too that shows the car driving by. I just want to have it back in my memory again, because we haven't really talked about that case in months. Are the Allen groupies, after the verdict, shaving their heads and sustaining from sex now? Oh, and by the way, you guys, listen. Whenever there is a Koberger hearing, and you happen to find it live on YouTube, but you can find it on other channels, but you can I want to have my own copy of it. If you copy the URL and email it to me if I miss it, they're still sitting there. They have them all on unlisted. They're not hidden. They're not. I didn't realize they were doing that. They're unlisted, and I can still download them. So they're not private or anything like that. So if you send me a link, I can just download it. What, you like my accent? What do you mean? I just have a regular. I live in Oregon. We just talk like nothing. We don't have accents here. We're generic people. Let's see. The way he manipulated his wife during his interrogation made me sick. Yeah. What was he saying in there? It was something like, I didn't do this or something. The part I thought was the most interesting is that he never said that. He never told his wife he was at the bridge. That's wild, don't you think? Like, wouldn't there be longer conversations about that with his wife? Like, holy crap, man, I was out there that day. Heck, I was even on the same bridge that they're... he didn't say that. You know why? Because he didn't want her to visualize the bridge guy as being him. I bet you she even thought it looked like him. And, we don't even know. She might absolutely have known that it was him after a while, but I don't know. I don't believe that, actually, because I think that was pretty telling when she said, you never told me you were on... I mean, why would she say that? You never told me you were on that bridge, and then she said that... What was the other element of that? You never told me you're on the bridge. Oh, and they've got the bullet. How did your bullet get there? See? She seemed confused. Let's see. They all have the same eyes. Look at Richard Allen's eyes and Koberger's. They stare and pierce right through. Yeah, like Jodi Arias. She had those black, like doll eyes. All right, anyways, I think we're going to switch. I wanted to just say that, listen, you guys can watch whatever the hell you want to watch. You know, everybody does. You watch what you want, you watch, etc. But I'm just saying to the people out there that are being tricked and suckered in by these defense attorneys giving you a bunch of just mumbo jumbo shit. The truth is that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy and he is the killer, and there is no doubt. I mean, it's just so obvious to people. If you've been following my channel, I think I would say 90% of the people that watched all of these shows that I was doing, even more than that, I'd say 99% on my channel, you went into the verdict thinking, man, this guy is guilty. I hope they all see what we've seen or can think through it the same way, right? Don't you agree with that? Everybody? Hey, look at that. AH is in Oregon. All right. What part of Oregon? I live in godforsaken Portland. What a joke. Yeah, that's a lot of times. All right, we got some Oregonians in here. Yeah, we're trying to cut down this huge tree in our yard, and you know what they said? The tree's healthy. We won't let you. Jesus. What a joke. That's how stupid. It's my property. I should be able to cut down any damn tree I want to. You know? What a stupid. I hate. Yeah, God, Oregon's so beautiful, but the politics and the just leadership, and it's disgusting. I probably do, Laura. We talk about it often, actually. In Texas, I could probably knock down 20 trees if I wanted to, right in my, you know, it wouldn't matter. And that's how it should be, because I own the property. If I want to cut the tree down for wood, should be able to cut it down. Don't you agree? And that tree drops down, and it's so dangerous every year, just throwing huge branches, and, you know, it just... Yep, shame on, you know, I don't know what the deal with Kathy is. I think she's sort of... Here's what is really a good possibility, is that she was sold a bill of goods by his attorneys because they wanted that case and the fame, and they said, ooh, and then they deployed out all the little defense attorney buddies who try to do the same crap, and it just totally backfired on all of them. You know, and I don't know where this case would be, though, if you allow the Odinist, and all that stuff is to create confusion, because there is absolutely nothing to any of that Odinist stuff. Well, Gray, one of them said, if you find spit on them, the girls, I got an explanation for it. Yeah, that's Elvis Fields, you said, right? The guy's got a 7th grade, like a 7-year-old brain. You know, it's ridiculous, you guys. Yeah, I think she does. They need to get rid of those attorneys, and they need to get somebody in there that looks at the case and goes, Richard, listen. Here's what we need to do. You know what I think, you guys? I think that Judge Gohl has some sort of, I'm not sure what you call it, but I mean, I don't know if the word sympathy is right, but was trying to look out for Richard Allen's, you know, disposition in this case, because she knew how devastating the evidence is, even when there was some stuff missing, you know. And she was just probably like, she wanted to get rid of those attorneys and get a couple in there that had Richard Allen's best interest at heart. And she wanted to get rid of them for good reasons. You know, they tried to So what happened was, if I remember this correctly, there was a, let's see, they verbally said to the defense team, hey, we're going to have we want to have let's do a gag order on this case. Let's not talk about it. And they go, sure, you don't need to tell us that. Next day, they had a press conference talking about all this stuff in the case. Then they were like, what? What are you doing? So the judge had to then put a gag order in there. And then I think after that, they put out the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing, which was the Odin document. And what they did was they uploaded it to the lawyer's server, right? And it was supposed to be confidential, right? Like this is like had crime scene information in it, etc. And it was supposed to be confidential, but so what they did was they put it out to this public thing, and a few people were let to know that it was out there, and they downloaded it really quick. Then they go, oops. And then after that, they had to put like severe restrictions on everything, like it was incredible. And they were already in hot water with the judge at that point. Do you guys understand that? Like why she would be angry at that? I mean, it's ridiculous. Then, after that, images were released of the crime scene. And then Jerry Holman and others, the same investigators, they went and investigated the source of the leak. And it led right back to the defense attorney's office, to Brad Rosie. It was actually Baldwin's office, though. So it went back to Baldwin's office. And then it turns out there was this guy named Mitch Westerman who had these photographs, and he's a friend of Baldwin's. So this is how it went down. So Westerman gave it to a guy named Robert Fortson, and Robert Fortson gave it to a person named Mark Cohen. And Mark Cohen's the guy that sort of started playing it out on the internet. And they did such a great job of corralling it in that those images never really made it out into the general public sphere. However, at that point, that's when she wanted to remove them as attorneys. But listen to this, though. See, that Mitch Westerman, he had already gotten so what the images were that he released were the same ones that are in the Frank's memorandum attachments, but the public didn't get to see the attachments, right? But he had already gotten a copy of the Frank's memorandum with the attachments. So isn't it much more likely that he would just take pictures of his own pictures instead of taking pictures of images in the office of Baldwin? He says he walked into a conference room, and on this table there were photographs sitting there of the crime scene. He snapped photos of them, and then he took them and he gave them. I mean, nobody does that, what I just told you. No, nobody does that. You would never do that to a friend or anything like that. And see, basically what Mitch Westerman is doing is he is the firewall. He bit the bullet. They made up the story about him taking pictures on a conference room table because he already had those pictures. And why would you take pictures of images you already have when you could just take pictures of the ones you had? You get it? So they actually protected Rosie, and this is just my opinion here because it all makes sense. He protected Rosie and Baldwin, and then guess what? The person he gave them to, Robert Fortson, he took his own life because of he just felt so bad that it got out. I mean, how crazy is that, you guys? And then she removed them well, listen to this. They had a hearing, and before the hearing, she said, well, we're going to discuss removing you guys from the case. Now, we can either do a hearing where we talk about it, or you can resign back here. So they decided to resign to save face. And then then later there was, she should have had the hearing. That's all that was. The state Supreme Court, I think, or some circuit court or whatever it was, they had the attorneys put back on because she should have had the hearing and not let them resign. She was letting them off easy so that the crap that they were pulling wasn't put out there. So this is the defense team that everybody out there is dealing with. They are not the most ethical people in the world. Let's put it that way. Okay? So how was that? Did you understand a little bit more now about what the hell was going on? Yeah, I already said that. Nicely done. I've explained it. I just explained the whole damn thing. Yeah, he left out the part that he already had pictures. I just explained that whole thing that you just said. No wonder the vibe was adversarial. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They were disgusting. They, you know, they got protected by Mitch Westerman. That's the truth of it. All right, so you guys getting the picture a little bit better now? This is what's been going on. And in the Odin document that they accidentally released, it discussed in detail like the crime scene and different things and the supposed F tree and shit like that, and just nonsensical. They just twisted everything around and told a story. Whoever wrote the Odin document, specifically the one single solitary man portion, should just be absolutely ashamed of themselves. I mean, it was like, you know how the girls were undressed? You know, their clothes were off. They described taking off the clothing, and each step, like something like this. This single solitary man with dexterity pulled the left arm out of the jacket, leaving the left coat with no arm in it, you know, some bullshit. And then it goes, then this one man acting alone, using dexterity, pulled the right arm out of the jacket. Then that one single solitary man removed that coat. Then that one single solitary man acting, you know, alone with dexterity, unbuckled the pants. And then that one single solitary man, it goes on and on. There's 99 or 100 of these lines over and over again to make it seem like the most complicated event in the history of the world. And the answer is, he had a gun. He had them undress. He had Abby dress again, or at least allowed her to dress again. That's it, man. He never touched the clothes. He wouldn't have to. Maybe he grabbed him and threw him in the water, but you know how they do that? It's just sickening. It's crazy. Did you guys, most of you have seen it. Have you guys seen my funny Mr. Rogers imitation of them? If you haven't, maybe I could play it if you guys want. It's only like 7 minutes long. It's kind of funny, but, you know. Well, put a 1 if you've never seen it, to see if it's worth doing it. Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can find it in here. Okay, a lot of people haven't seen it. Okay, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this one then. Oh, there it is. Acting alone. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Life is hard. Life is difficult. But nothing is harder than this. This man acting alone. With dexterity opens a door to a quiet house. Almost too quiet if you catch my drift. Then this single solitary man waves as if to communicate with higher powers. We all know who those higher powers are. Then this single solitary man with extreme dexterity signals the higher powers yet again, using what vaguely resembles the ASL version of the letter F. Did you hear what I said? The letter F. This man acting alone walks towards a conspicuous closet. Once at this conspicuous closet, incredibly with dexterity, he opens the closet door while simultaneously maneuvering his left hand and left arm out of the armhole of his jacket. He then used his dexterity to pull the left arm through the left armhole. Once the left arm was successfully pulled through the left armhole of the jacket, the man acting alone would have used his dexterity to begin moving his right arm and then hand out of the right armhole of the jacket. Wow. Once this single solitary man removed his jacket, he then, acting alone, using his dexterity, grabs a hanger, not an ordinary hanger, but a wooden hanger that could resemble the Illuminati Eye of Providence. Once this single solitary man, acting alone, reveals the hanger, he, using his dexterity to cover up this symbol with his jacket, by first putting the hanger under the left shoulder of the jacket, and then the under left shoulder of the jacket. He then, with the seemingly mythic Thor-like ability, hangs the jacket in the closet. Astonishingly, this single solitary man, acting alone, grabs what appears to be a tan sweater from the closet, only briefly revealing another triangle guised as a hanger. This single solitary man, using his dexterity, shuts the closet door quickly with his left arm. Amazingly, as the door is shutting, this man acting alone maneuvered his right hand and right arm through the right armhole of the sweater. Then, as if he was a magician, acting alone, he, behind his back, maneuvers his left hand, then arm through the left armhole of the sweater. Then, in a move that only the Shaolin monks seem to have mastered, this man acting alone, using both hands, zipped the front of the sweater, tricking his would-be detractors who believed he would zip it all the way. Then this man, acting alone, using his left leg, first steps forward and begins an arduous trek to a bench, a seemingly short trip, but was anything but. Trust me. Amazingly, 2 Converse sneakers were placed intentionally on this bench prior to this man arriving. Then this single solitary man maneuvers his right leg over the top of his left leg. This man, then acting alone, quickly removes his right shoe and holds it up defiantly, but briefly. Once he has removed his right dress shoe, this man, using dexterity, grabs the right Converse sneaker that was conveniently placed on the bench and slides it on his right foot. Once the shoe is on his right foot, this single solitary man, using dexterity, ties the right shoelaces, securing the right Converse sneaker to his right foot. Then this single solitary man, with dexterity, maneuvers his left leg over the top of his right leg. This man, then acting alone, quickly removes his left dress shoe and tosses the left dress shoe to his left hand. Once his left dress shoe is removed, this man, using dexterity, grabs the left Converse sneaker that was conveniently placed on the bench and slides it on his left foot. Once the left Converse sneaker is on his left foot, this single solitary man, using dexterity, ties the left shoe laces, securing the left Converse sneaker to his left foot. Not one single solitary man could do this alone. Obviously, someone else was involved.
There you go. There you go, everybody. Come on, that's pretty good. Come on, you guys. I like the one about, like, the would-be attractor. He zips it up and then he brings it down a little bit. Ding, 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 diddle, ding, ding. I know. Yeah, most of the regular freaks have seen that before, but yeah, there's more people here. About 160 people left during that. Those are the low humor value people, the ones that if I could have any, oh god, that's mean, Gray. I thought it was a really cleverly written document. I mean, if you listen to Bob Motta, it's one of the greatest legal documents ever put out there, because what it did was it put the case out there to the public, much like the probable cause document, but in reverse. No, it was a joke, is what that document was. I think they should have been ashamed, shunned, and avoided after they put that document out. Yeah. All right, anyways, Thought I'd give you guys something to laugh at for a minute there, you know. I thought it was pretty creative at the time. I got the idea of making a video like that from Fig Solves, though. He made something using a voice, and I was like, oh, I could do the single solitary man thing. Well, thanks, DW Dog. Very cool, very cool. But man, that video deserves some super chats, don't you think? And put some, let's get some questions going, you know, like I mean, I scroll all the way to the top, and I think the last one was like 20 minutes ago. It's a different kind of humor. We call it dry humor in Australia. Yeah, that's right. And there's a lot of people that don't get dry humor. They just kind of like, yeah, geez, you know, oh my God, what are you doing, making fun of a... But if you get it, then you get it, right? Or get some memberships for people. That'd be good. My friend spreads peanut butter with the spoon. We failed the test right away. I get it. Question about Keegan, but... yeah. Oh well. Anyways, I was going to switch over to the Keegan Klein topic now, you guys. So... and so there's a lot of people that are sort of new to Delphi, but they went straight into the drama areas. Hopefully you got a few bleed overs into the show tonight, where you can actually see some of the other stuff that was kind of interesting over the years. Let's see. What were all those cardboard posters outside the courtroom? Oh, I don't know, man. That was disgusting. Every one of those conspiracy nutters had their channel posted there. It was actually, I would have started calling it the Wall of Shame at that point. And there was like, we love you, Rick posters. Can you believe that? We love you, Rick. We love you, double child killer. You're great. Well, Gray, they just don't believe he did it. Golly. Really? He told you he did it, for God's sakes. He said he was there, and he said he did it. How do you not believe that? He was tortured in prison, Gray. Look it. He confessed in March. There was nothing. There was nothing. Everything was fine. It was eating, he was exercising, reading books, etc. Then he confessed, and then his wife calls his attorneys, and don't you know, right after that he gets crazy. Use your brains, people. The psychological element of this case is complete mumbo-jumbo, had no bearing on anything. It was just put in there, much like the Odinist crap was going to be used, to trick the people on the jury. And, I mean, look how it tricked all the wackos on the internet, okay? And by the way, I put out a video earlier this evening, you guys. So if you could please go watch it and share it after this stream is over, that'd be great. I mean, it only had like 3,000 views, which is pathetic. Yeah, well, I think some of his confessions were strategically planned by the defense to cast doubt on his earlier confessions. And I think he intentionally put in stuff like he assaulted different family members, etc., knowing that they could call them up as witnesses to say, yeah, look, he didn't do it, see? Oh, look how they're all fake now. All of them are false and it's just so stupid. I mean, that's what they literally planned. We think we can get Richard Allen off. That's what their belief system is. You're so rude, Caroline said. Caroline, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you like to watch the trash out there. It's okay. You lost, Caroline. Get over it, okay? Richard Allen is the killer, everybody. Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. He is the killer. Yeah, it was something like he watched them. I don't remember. I don't think he lured them there. Yeah, I don't think I've been rude tonight at all, you guys. I'm not sure where that comment came from. Did you guys feel like I've been rude tonight? If I did a poll, it'd be 10% because that's the percentage of my viewers that are literal trolls from a troll channel just waiting for some sort of slip up that they can grab and use and go, oh, look at Gray. Imagine having a life where every night your thought process, and by the way, I have an ex-mod that used to be a cheerleader. She has a cease and desist order against her, and I just saw her make a comment on a video. It's like, she's still out there doing it. She can't get over me. Get over me, for God's sakes. I don't even think of you. And then all of a sudden, there's your comment. So it's a ridiculous thing. She was a moderator that used to be a cheerleader, and I gave her a choice one night. I said, you can either be a moderator here, and then she was a moderator on another true crime channel at the same time that I was doing shows, and I don't really want that. I don't think anybody would want a moderator that's on another channel at the same time when you're doing. And I told her to, you have a choice, and she chose to go there, and I removed her as a moderator. And from that day forward, she just can't get me out of her mind. It's almost, she's a bunny boiler, okay? It's crazy. Unbelievable. And it doesn't matter what show you show up on, man. She's out there. Wild. It's wild, man. Yeah, she really is a nut job. I mean, I can't, she's got a cease and desist. She doesn't, adhere to it because her brain she just gets so worked up, That's why I'm saying it's like a bunny boiler. It's wild. I hadn't even thought of the person in months because I haven't seen it. But then, no, I did see her make a comment on another channel one time. And I just sort of let it go. But now it's happening again, and she just can't get over it, Let's see. I'm just unforgettable. Yeah, I should sing that song. Unforgettable. Da, 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 da. Right. That's, there's so much drama that goes on. I try to not have it, though, but it does exist. All right, so let's do the Kegan Kline thing now. And while we're doing all this stuff, don't forget to help support the channel. Let's keep on trucking. Let's have one of those best months we ever had. So we've already given out, I think, 1,500 this month so far already, which is good. These are my confessions. Right. A poll to show them how not rude. No, if I did a poll, it would be, I would get 15% or 20 would say I was rude. Because the trolls sit in here. So it wouldn't work. Danny. This week started great. Yeah, what do you mean? I'm not sure. Yeah, we got the how do you guys think it went? I think it was actually something like the jury went back there and one of them said something like, I'm just not sure, you guys. I'm not sure. So then they spent 17 hours, just going over things. And then I think they decided, just like I told you guys, that on Saturday they were getting close, and that's why they wanted, came in an hour later they wanted. And then they looked at it again. They all voted guilty. They said, let's have a weekend. Let's spend the rest of the weekend on the government's dime in a hotel and to think about it. And then when we come on Monday, let's see if there's any lingering questions. Well, Saturday, they did look at the tape again. I think that was kind of the thing, right? So Saturday, they looked at the surveillance. I mean, not the surveillance, the interview with Jerry Holman and Richard Allen on October 26, 2017. And then they also wanted the Libby's video, and they were just checking the audio, and I think that was the final thing that, somebody probably went, okay, yeah, all right. And then they said, let's just spend the next couple of days and think about it. Came in on Monday and immediately did another vote, and nothing changed. They go, yeah, guilty, and that's it. Doesn't that sound about right? Like it seemed like they were done on Saturday. Because there was like they barely deliberated at all on Monday. I don't think there was two, Ziggy. I'm not sure why you're saying the two saw the video. Do we have word out there what it was? I mean, that there was two people that were like, I mean, I'm not sure that's out there. I'm not sure where you're getting that information. Alright. Okay. Alright, so check this thing out, you guys. Check this out. So on, the girls were killed on February 13th, 2017. Let's see. But that's like, so that was a Monday. And that means on the 11th and 12th, there was this catfishing account that Libby was communicating with. A catfishing account. Another sexual deviant predator. Right? And that account was traced back. The FBI traced it back. And it led to a guy named Kegan Kline's house. Tony Kline's his dad, and that's who owned the house. So it led back to that address. And the FBI figured it out. And so they went over to his house, basically like a raid. And that house is right over here in Peru, Indiana. Right here. So they get in there, and when they went to the house there, and well, keep in mind this, Keegan Klein and his dad just got back from Las Vegas, and I think they went there like 17th or 18th, and they just got back on the 25th, if I remember correctly. I think this is it right here, this document. Yeah, so it's this one, and so what's the date on there? Yeah, February 25th. So they go over to Keegan Kline's house on February 25th, 2017. And it says right here, the undersigned says on February 25th, 2017, the Indiana State Police, ISP, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant while working ISP case, and it's Abby and Libby. The FBI sent information for the ISP Cyber Crimes Unit that an adult male was soliciting female juveniles utilizing the social media platforms Snapchat and Instagram. The adult male was using the username Anthony Shots. Subpoenas were sent to Instagram and Snapchat for the Anthony Shots account information. The Instagram and Snapchat returns provided Comcast IP addresses. A subpoena was sent to Comcast for the IP addresses associated with the Anthony Shots account, and they returned to Tony Klein in Peru, Indiana. The Instagram subpoena advised the Anthony Shots account was registered on 7/20/2016, so this would be 7 months prior to the murders. And the Snapchat return was 7/14, so that, around the same time. And that says on February 25th, 2017, at approximately 12:30, search warrant was executed on the residence by ISP, FBI, and Peru Police Department. Tony Klein and his son Keegan Klein were located in the residence. At approximately 12:35 p.m., Tony was interviewed by ISP Sergeant Kunstek, and FBI Special Agent William Tony was read his rights, and so Tony was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. Tony confirmed they had Comcast and their internet provider, and it was a secured network. He also told investigators that Keegan did use Instagram and Snapchat. I am reading, you guys, we've just died down in here. We got to keep moving. At approximately 1:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Keegan Klein was interviewed by ISP Sergeant Kunstek and FBI, this is Keegan Klein now, FBI Special Agent William Willman. Then Keegan was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. During Keegan's interview, he initially denied creating fake social media accounts and talking to underage girls. Later in the interview, he admitted to creating the Anthony Shots profile and speaking to the underage girls. Keegan told investigators he created the accounts approximately 6 months ago. Keegan stated he talks to girls he knows personally and girls he doesn't know personally. Keegan stated he meets girls on Instagram. He said he knows the age of the girls he communicates with because he talks to them. Keegan stated if a girl told him she was 16 or under, he wouldn't care and would still talk to them. Keegan told investigators he finds girls on Instagram and then tells them to talk to him on Snapchat. Keegan admitted to speaking to approximately 15 girls that were underage and advised he probably received pictures from every one of them. He advised he saved their pictures to his gallery. But keep in mind, Keegan Klein had a Dropbox account, and the Dropbox account apparently led to one of the largest child pornography rings in Indiana state history. During his interview, Keegan stated he was effed and he should have left. Keegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Las Vegas. So he and his dad returned from Las Vegas on February 25th, 2017. He said he was going to leave when his dad was asleep. I'm not sure why he's saying that. Like he should have left. You know, almost, it almost kind of implies something regarding his dad or something. Keegan told investigators the main phone he uses is the white iPhone 5C. After Keegan's interview, he was polygraphed at the Peru State Police post by Sergeant Matthew Collins. Keegan and Sergeant Collins spoke about this incident and case, Abby and Libby. Keegan again admitted to creating the fake Anthony Shots profiles and speaking to underage girls. Keegan told Sergeant Collins the girls ranged from 15 to 17 years old, and he knew their ages because they told them how old they were. Keegan stated he received approximately 100 sexual pictures from underage girls. Keegan described sexual pictures as bare breasts and various private parts, etc. Keegan also advised he received approximately 20 videos of underage girls playing with themselves. Keegan stated he would also play with himself to the pictures and videos they sent him. He also communicated this to the girls who were sending the pictures. Keegan's polygraph was concluded at approximately 7:30 p.m. and then he was transported back to his residence. So this guy, he's got way more pictures. He's every device they found in his house was like inundated, filled with CSAM material. Thank you, Winnie Van Rokel. If Richard Allen partook in child porn, I'm afraid he films sold his crime. Yeah, we're just trying to get to all that stuff later. Don't know. Alright, let's see. Multiple electronic devices were seized during the warrant, including an Apple iPhone 4, Apple iPhone 3, and they didn't collect, though, the Apple iPhone 5C. On February 27th, Keegan Klein contacted ISP Cybercrimes Unit and told him, Wow, I located my Apple iPhone 5C that wasn't taken during the warrant. On March 2nd, 2017, the unit obtained the iPhone 5C. So look at that, March 2nd, and it was February 25th, I mean. So that means it's like 5 days later, he finally, I found that phone that I was using during the time of the murders. Isn't that weird? So he too was like Richard Allen. We don't know where Richard Allen's phone is, and we didn't know where Keegan Klein's phone was at the time, and now we know why, though. I mean, look at all this stuff down here. This iPhone was named Keegan Klein iPhone. There's actually another account he made called Emily Ann, which is a female account, and he would sort of, groom different girls to sort of, send her pictures, and then also try to convince them that being with an older guy is okay, like 40-something, 50 years old. I mean, it was pretty crazy. So who was running that account? Apparently, the writing on that account was different the wording and so forth was different. And then it says on May 14, 2016, there was discussion that involved the user of the iPhone and another party sharing Dropbox public links containing CSAM. Look at that. I don't think now I just want to read that again. So on May 14th, there was a discussion that involved the user of the iPhone, and this is the iPhone 4, and another party sharing Dropbox public links containing CSAM and child erotica media files. Descriptions of the files are listed below. The chat, the user of the iPhone 4 portrayed themselves as Emily Ann 45. The user had used the Emily Ann identity in 2015 on the Samsung Galaxy S4 device. So we don't get to see any of the what was said or anything like that. It's all blacked out. And then the interesting part, though, there's more at the bottom of this whole thing. I mean, all this stuff is on all these devices. And then I guess down here, let's see. Samsung Galaxy S5. The iPhone was named Klein Photography. And listen to this. And was factory reset on approximately February 23rd, 2017. Keegan would have been 22 years old at the time. This device was not secured with a password or PIN code. There were numerous usernames and email addresses located on the phone, including there was some chat messages recovered. This phone right here he found he said he found it in Las Vegas on the back of an Uber or something like that. Wouldn't it be interesting if that was the missing Richard Allen cell phone? Wouldn't that be crazy? There were some chat messages recovered from this device from MeetMe, Facebook Messenger, but they must have the IMEI number off of that phone, and it doesn't match the one that Dan Doolin had written down. I'm just saying, wouldn't that be crazy? Conversations that took place between February 23rd and 2017 discussed meeting people in Las Vegas. Ah, God. Meeting people in Las Vegas and prostitution. Yeah. Let's see, Galaxy S4, that was the S5 up here. The user also used two profiles, Kegan Kline and Emily Ann, to communicate with female teens. Conversations were found on the device where Emily discussed how she had sex with Kegan Kline and his father at the same time. Right. See, she was trying to groom another girl into being interested in that. But hey, by the way, can you guys, let's see if we can get some more channel members in here tonight. We've only got 12 of those, and we're having one of these pre-trial slow nights for no reason at all with 1,000 people watching. So I don't know if you guys have the ability to, but this channel relies on the support from the people watching it, and that's all I got for you, man. There's no ad revenues. This stuff that we're talking about right now immediately makes it so the channel doesn't get revenue. So you guys are it. If you think I'm doing a good job and it's interesting, I could use your support. There's been 0 connections made. Yeah, well, what I've said is I talked to one of the investigators. They couldn't find a connection between Keegan Klein and Richard Allen. Okay, let's just start with that. We got that, right? They couldn't find one. That means it's probably not digital. And if it's not digital, then, you know, it could be analog. Maybe it was verbally said, you know. I mean, it's interesting. So let's just keep going through it. Let's not have too much, you know, wild, you know, conjecture and just sort of randomly dismissing something without us being able to get through this, all right? Hey, look at that. Tara gifted a membership to, and thanks CW Dog, to Odysseus. All right. Very cool. All right, so this is the key part of this document right here, though. Listen to this. While looking over the digital forensic examination report, I noticed, because they already got the iPhone 5C back. Hey, thanks, Bama Girl, to of all things. While looking over the digital forensic examination report, I noticed the user of the Apple iPhone 5C, that's Kegan Kline's phone that he was using during the time of the murders, was deleted multiple items off the phone before turning it into law enforcement. So he had had the polygraph test, and it was all connected to the Abby and Libby case, and he gets home and he's just deleting the hell out of everything. I mean, don't you find that interesting? On February 25th, 2017, the search warrant was served on the Kline residence, and Kegan was interviewed and polygraphed. On February 27th, 2017, Kegan called the Indiana, so 2 days later, he called the Indiana State Police to turn in the Apple iPhone 5C. On February 25th, at approximately 7:30, so remember he was dropped off at home. After he was dropped off, the police leave, and then, boom, he gets that phone out and concluded he was transported back to his residence. Let me just start that part over. So on the 25th, at approximately 7:30 p.m., Kegan's polygraph was concluded and he was transported back to his residence. The digital forensic examination reports that at 9:19, so less than 2 hours after his polygraph test, the user of the iPhone 5C started to uninstall and delete apps from the phone. At approximately 9:19 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Snapchat. At approximately 10:14 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted Instagram from the phone. On February 26th, at approximately 1:12 p.m., the user uninstalled and deleted MeetMe from the phone. The user put Snapchat back on the device, so he's just trying to uninstall, right back over, uninstall, right back over. At 1:28 p.m., the user again uninstalled and deleted it from the phone. Kegan admitted to using these applications to chat with underage girls. The evidence contained in these applications were destroyed when the user deleted them from the device before turning it into law enforcement. Isn't that suspicious-ish? Hey, thanks so much, Karen. And thanks for the email earlier, Karen. Appreciate it. But what do you guys think about that right there? Isn't that interesting? That you got this account that was communicating, and we know that later. So watch, there's this other huge, long, man, I think I actually have the let's see. Let me look at that again. Kegan. I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, so we have a couple different things. We have the interview with Barbara McDonald and Kegan Kline. That was pretty interesting. Because in that one, he sort of throws his dad under the bus a little bit, but not too bad. Anyways, I'll just throw this one out here. So there's a 198-page interview with Kegan Kline and the investigators. It's crazy. So in this document, at one point, they actually talk to him about, I mean, is her name even in here? So I have a version of this where it's not redacted. I'm trying to find it, though. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it, but these words. Okay, let's see if we can find. Oh. Yeah, so I guess Libby's, so talking to the girls about you were supposed to meet. Okay, right here. Right here, this is interesting. So one of the parts in there, so he agrees that he was communicating with Libby that weekend. He agrees with it. So right here it said, question, but you need to tell me, I don't know anything, he said. who was logging in. Hey, Sandy Shirley, thanks so much. Gifted 5 memberships. Blissful Kitty, Chimera Truly, Karen Weiss, Angel Eyes, and Carly Fontana. Thanks, Sandy Shirley. That was very kind. It says, who was logging in? Like I told you before, to these accounts. So it's like, who was logging into these accounts? Like I told you before, I do not. Now you don't know again? I told you I logged in from 2 different phones. I had 2 different phones. So they're trying to get him to actually, mention that his dad was using these phones too. This whole 198 pages were trying to get him to say that. Who was talking to the girls? You were supposed to meet Libby. I don't remember, and she didn't show up. Now you don't remember again? Yeah, because... Yeah, where was that? I never told her I would hang out with her. I never said anything like that. You remember certain things, and then certain things you don't remember. It's awfully convenient, Keegan. It's really convenient. Let's see what it says up here. The girls that knew Libby. Okay, I think this might be. And then we go again to something else. This is one of the investigators. That stacks on top of this is... And see, here's the thing, everybody. Why didn't they try to pin it on Kegan Kline here? This guy had all kinds of stuff going on. And the reason is he didn't answer any of the questions in the case that they had. Richard Allen did, though. It says right here, and we go again to something else that stacks on top of this, is when we talk to investigators. I mean, this is fresh in your mind. You just got back from Las Vegas. You've been non-stop searching this stuff. He's searching in Vegas about the case. You have been talking about it with other girls that knew Libby. You have been searching it before you went to Vegas. And then you tell investigators, I was with my dad all day. We went to Grandma and Grandpa's at noon. Let's see. Like I told them I would go. Yeah, where's another Libby thing? Right there. Yeah, so this is, it says, let me ask you, why would you, after you failed the polygraph about knowing about Delphi investigations, come home, delete your Snapchat and your Instagram, we just went over all that, which you used to communicate with Libby, and then you searched how long does DNA last? Why would you do that? He says, I have no clue. I don't know. Probably because they DNA tested me? I know, but why would you ask that, though? I mean, if you weren't there, you wouldn't even be, Right. So they obviously have DNA on that body, because why else would they DNA test me? So why would you worry? Yeah, there you go. That's funny. So why would you worry about your DNA? I didn't think the same way when I was reading this the first time as I do now. I think I've become more critical. Hey, thank you very much, Kinsman. Says, thanks for your hard work on this case, Greg. Great work. Well, thank you. Don't forget to show up during the Idaho 4, because that'll be the same. I mean, that's pretty crazy right there, right? And he says, so why would you worry about your DNA being on the body? I wouldn't. But a minute ago, you just said you would. Then why you search for it? This is just common. See, that's common sense right there. This detective is using common sense. Why did you search for how long DNA lasted if you weren't concerned your DNA was on one of those girls right after you were interviewed and polygraphed? I mean, that's crazy again to see that, right? So that's why a lot of us are like, how in the hell is there not a connection somehow? I mean, you've got this catfishing account that was communicating with Libby and Abby, and the catfishing account is now saying stuff like, how long does DNA last? I actually forgot about that. How long does DNA last? After he was interviewed about it. And let me just show you guys something. All right, I'm going to go back here. Watch this. Watch this. This is crazy, right? At trial, Richard Allen, in his confession, when he said he went to his mother's house, guess where that is? Look where this is, you guys. He went to his mother's house, and his mother lives right here in Mexico, Indiana, but he even said he went to Peru, because it's right there. Here's Peru, Indiana. It's 3 miles away, and this is where Keegan Kline lives. He went there that morning at 11:45 or so. He's in the Peru area. We're talking about Richard Allen now. I mean, how crazy is that? Richard Allen is in the Peru area on the day of the homicides, and then he goes straight, gets a six-pack, goes home, and he rushes out to the bridge. And when the 3 girls saw him, they said he had his head down, and he looked like he was on a mission. And you know what Betsy Blair said? That it looked like he was waiting for somebody, but she wasn't the one. And guess what? Would the Keegan Kline account, using the Anthony Shots profile, be aware that Abby and Libby might be going to the bridge that day? See, that's why it's just hard to believe. I mean, I think it's just a situation where they could not prove it and there was no digital connection. But it might not be that Keegan Kline is even aware, right? Because remember the Dropbox account? Maybe Keegan Kline posted, hey, there's going to be a couple girls at the bridge on the Dropbox account. And then another user told Richard Allen about that. But it's all, it's connected to that as well. See that? So let's say there was a guy named Jim, one of the many people that was using the Dropbox account before it was investigated. Because, by the way, when it was led to the largest child pornography ring in Indiana state history, that was like a year or two after. We're just reading the sort of like write-up on it. I mean, don't you find that insane, you guys? I mean, I forgot about some of the stuff that this document says. Because in this document, you know what it says? It says in this one that the Anthony Shots profile on the day like the girls were missing or had been found deceased, one of Libby's friends who also was communicating with Anthony Shots messaged and said, did you hear what happened to Abby and Libby? Or what happened to Libby or whatever? And then the guy, he said, oh my God, what? I was supposed to meet him that day, but they never showed up. You don't think that's just crazy? Like, so what then if you believe in that, then that means that Keegan Kline, the Anthony Shots profile, whatever, was going to meet up with the girls. But I'm actually wondering, though, like, is he... It makes you wonder if Richard Allen is who was showing up in place of Anthony Shots. But then Keegan Kline would have to know that, and surely he would be using that to leverage something out of a 40-year deal. So there's things that are sort of contradictory to it, right? But we're just explaining to you guys, like, why, some of us are still kind of like, come on. Yeah, maybe it wasn't digital or something. Maybe it was analog. There's some kind of a connection somewhere. I'm going to see if I can find that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that one is, but yeah, so, and there's just tons of stuff in this document. I mean, basically you just heard really everything. And the thing, they went to Las Vegas, right? And they go to Las Vegas, and apparently he finds a phone that he factory reset that was on a cab. Does that make any sense to anybody? What was on that Samsung phone before it was at factory? I think Keegan Kline went to Las Vegas with CSAM material on that iPhone, on the Samsung Galaxy S5, and he sold something to somebody in Las Vegas, then he factory reset that and then brought it back home. You know, but whose phone was that? Yeah, well, we thought, I mean, it's so crazy that the same day, I could not believe that when I heard that at trial, that he goes to Peru, Indiana on the same day of the homicides, and that's exactly where Richard Allen lives. I mean, not Richard Allen, where Kegan Kline lives. Richard Allen went there. So I don't know. Maybe that'll come out. Maybe there'll be something later. I mean, if Richard Allen ever talks, it'd be interesting to know. All I want to know from Richard Allen is, did you know the girls were going to be that their day? And if you did, how did you know that they were going to be there? See what we're talking about on this channel, you guys? Like we're moving forward and figuring, like looking at something. The other channels are, gosh, you guys, juror number 6, he had glasses, but I saw him without his glasses on, and then, I mean, what made him change his mind? I want to know. Oh my God, you guys are sick. All right, get the hell out of here. My God, grow up. He's found guilty. If he was found not guilty, I would, all I would ever be able to say is that justice will never be served for Abby and Libby in this case, because Richard Allen is the killer. He is Bridge Guy, and there'll never be another person that answers all those questions, and they will never get justice. So thank you, YouTube attorneys and everybody, for affecting the... That's what I would be saying. But, you know, I'd have to accept the outcome, because it's not going to change ever, you know? That's it. But I sure as hell am not going to be out there trying to free a double child killer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just all kind of interesting, that long document, because they go out to where the grandparents live, and, you know, it's just one long, you know, they went to the grandparents' house that day. And then Keegan says that his dad was taken in the Barbara McDonald interview. It has a little bit more detail on what he claims he did, but you know, Keegan Klein lies a lot. You know, just lie. I think that's why they were even. Oh yeah, and then another thing that was interesting is, check this out. So now you've already heard all of that, right? But then, like in late August, I think it was, they started searching, and this is 2022. They started searching the Wabash River right here. Might have been early September, but they were searching the Wabash River here, and they were there for like a month. I mean, it was crazy how long. They were looking for something in the Wabash River, according to something Keegan Klein had told them. And they were looking in the water, and they looked every day. But it turns out 1 week prior to them completing the search in the Wabash River, on September 21st, that's when the tip came in from Kathy Shank regarding this new tip narrative of Richard Allen. Now, I thought that somebody tipped them in, but that seems like they have a pretty complex story about how she went through and found it and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe she was told to, you know, let's just throw this out. Like, what if the daughter or somebody like that told them that, and they said, well, we don't want to have that be an issue somehow. So let's just say, okay, a tip came in, and then she went through digging through all the files again and organizing it, and oh, there it is, you know. So it's kind of a true story, but maybe not, you know. I don't know. Like, maybe they're trying to protect her, so it doesn't really matter. That would have helped, though. I mean, but, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how to think about that. I just think, let's just say it's true that they stumbled upon it again. I mean, man, what are the odds of that, too? Right in the last week of searching that river, then you come up with somebody else? And I think law enforcement, I'm almost certain, that they believe that there was a connection between Keegan Klein and Richard Allen, and they tried to find a connection. They could never find it. And then they just got sick of Richard Allen, and man, then the whole book got thrown at that guy because of all the shit that he'd put them through and the disgusting stuff that he did. I mean, he's a freaking monster. But anyways, you guys, dead as a doornail in here, so I'm going to take off and go watch a movie or something or do something else. Pretty much done with that conversation. What do you guys think about it? Yeah, I just think they can't prove it. That's what I think. Huh? What idea? Who? Where? Yeah, I just think that they're... I think there's a connection somehow. I just think that they were never able to... Well, you don't know Bees 9. You're just saying it just to say. You haven't even followed the case. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just somebody that wants to throw it out. I can always tell when it's somebody... No connection, in my opinion. That's because they don't know the case. So they just throw it out there. We don't know. I definitely think there's a connection. Yeah. No, you haven't, Bees 9. Okay. Let's see. I can tell because the thing is, any rational-minded person, when you put all that together, you would think, using common sense, that they're connected. They just couldn't find a connection. But it doesn't mean that Richard Allen didn't in some way have somebody have access that he knows that is, had access to the Dropbox account. I just think it's hilarious, It's like, how the hell is anybody, I don't think there's a connection. Well, how? I mean, what did we say right there that eliminated him? All I know is that I did have an investigator tell me that they could find no connection. It doesn't mean there isn't one. Okay? But the way it all is put together seems like there's a connection. And then you sort of go, well, how was the connection made? And guess what? We had already thought all this before. And then at trial, he's right there next to Keegan Klein on the morning of the homicides. It's like, what the hell? I mean, if that didn't come out, I'd probably still be like, it's interesting. How is he not connected somehow? But man, he's there that morning. That just really is kind of like, wow. Well, that's too bad, Sarah. There's a lot of crazy people out there that you have relegated to listen to. Hey, thanks, Shay. Appreciate it. No, it doesn't mean that, Bees 9. It's not disagreeing. Okay, Bees 9. Instead of bitching and complaining, how about this? What reasoning, of all the stuff that I just told you, what is the one thing that you go, that can't be connected? Go ahead. What is it? Go ahead. What is it? No, I'm curious because you were so certain, and I want to know what it was. What was the thing that we went over just now? Was it the fact that Keegan Klein has and I'm not saying they are connected. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. But what is it that I just said that leads you to go, yep, there you go. That's not connected. I'm just waiting for it. I just want to see what you say. It's okay. It's okay. No, you said they're not connected in your opinion. So what is it that was said that would make it not connected? Because no, you did say that. You did say that up there. You said they're not connected in your opinion. So what was it that I was presenting to you that made you think that they weren't connected? I'm just trying to get that out. I like people to explain things because you got people that always show up and they make these claims. They go, I don't believe it. And then I go, well, how come? And then there's never a follow-up answer or anything like that. So if you could let me know on that, that'd be interesting. I'd be interesting to see. Maybe you'll convince me too. I know it said that. She said in my, what's the difference, Poppy? That doesn't mean anything. Everybody says what their opinion is, Poppy. Man, you guys are just... I think Keegan Klein would have turned on Rick. There's no solid evidence they know each other. Right. I mean, that's a good one. I brought that up as well. I said you would think Keegan Klein would use that information, but then there's also the thing that I was saying earlier, Danny and everybody else. I said that there's also the Dropbox account. Okay, there's a Dropbox account out there that other people had access to, and Keegan Klein would upload to that. So how do we know somebody on there wasn't communicating with him also? You know, I don't know. I guess maybe we'll find out someday. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know either. I was told there's no connection, but I'm just trying to. I want people to say how they, when they say they're not connected, in my opinion. Well, then what is your opinion that makes you believe that? Right. So I don't think there's anything wrong with asking that question. Right, Poppy? It's like, you guys are so weird. Man. Well, they would have given him a deal. Yeah, they would certainly give a deal to somebody. He hadn't actually harmed anybody, right? Like, physically. So you might say, make a deal to help convict a killer. But you know what they might have said was this. They might have said this. They might have said, we don't need Keegan. Once they got into Richard Allen and saw all the stuff that he answered every question, they may have even said, well, we don't need to make a deal with Keegan Klein. We don't need to make a deal with that guy. We can get him anyways. And look what happened. Without Keegan Klein, Richard Allen was found guilty. And it might mean that there's no connection to Keegan Klein, or it might mean that there was. They just didn't use it because Keegan Klein is a liar, and it might have been, not believed by the jury. Who knows? No, yeah, it's okay. B's 9. I just want. I mean, I like that you said. I just want to have more information from people who don't agree. Like if you go, I don't agree. Okay, well, I'm not saying you sounded like that when you typed it in, but you just type in something. I don't think they're connected. And then I want to know, okay, you don't think they're connected, so why not in the same sentence go, I don't think they're connected, and then ding, 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 right? Get what I'm saying? Danny, Poppy. Let's see. Was someone in the Dropbox communicating? Well, we don't know. We don't know. See, when you say no, Danny, we don't know the answer to that question. Because somebody in the Dropbox may have been communicating with Richard Allen verbally, just like, hey, Richard, hey, stop by real quick over here. Check it out. Check it out. There's going to be these two girls, and there would be no evidence of that. And that guy was sure as hell wouldn't admit it later, right? He might have been arrested for, let me just say this. He might be arrested for accessing the Dropbox account, right? However, a person, let's say a guy named Jim, he's out there and he's like, hey, you got to stop by. I got something to tell you, man. Hey, look at this. Look at this. These two girls are going to be there. Now, eventually, when the ring is busted, that person's never going to admit to police that he's the one that told Richard Allen and then he killed them, right? He's never going to do that. But Richard Allen, though, it's possible at this stage that he might cut a deal for something if it leads to something else, right? Because now he's in a precarious situation. I don't know what he's going to get out of it, but what would you do, you guys, if you were police? Would you do something where you say you would give him a deal? Like, I don't know if he still gets life in prison, but maybe he's got a little better, like a TV or something, if it led to another person that was responsible. Wouldn't that be amazing? Anyways, just some thoughts. And this is stuff that we've been thinking about a long time. But yeah, I was told there was no connection. They could find no connection. Not that there wasn't a connection, they could just never find one. But I think I would make a deal where, he got better accommodations, protected, a little bit better, whatever the hell it is, if he gave up a name to somebody else. And I'm sorry if I get too, passionate about stuff. It's just kind of sucks when you're talking and you sort of just get shut down, Yeah, I don't have any issue with the Bees 9. I was just like, hey, give me the answer. Well, no, I was told there was no connection either, Bees 9. So there's days where I just go, yeah, no connection. But how about this, Bees 9 and all the rest of you guys? Do you think that Richard Allen was... this is just kind of the way I talk on some nights. It's late night and everything like that. But what I was going to say, do you think there's a... Do you think Richard Allen knew that Abby and Libby were going to be there? Based on the girls said he had his head down, it looked like he was on a mission. And then Betsy Blair said he looked like he was waiting for somebody. So do you think he knew that Abby and Libby were going to be there? My original theories years ago was that the person was just there hunting for a victim, and Abby and Libby fell into their trap. Right? So but let's say, so a lot of people think, yes, they believe that that Richard Allen knew they were going to be there somehow. Well, how did he know that? Then doesn't that make sense that leads back to the Dropbox or something? I mean, I'm just saying, look at all, there's a lot of people. Let's do a poll instead. How about that? So we get the number. All right, here we go. Do you think Richard Allen knew Abby and Libby were going to be on the trails? All right, here we go. That's a legit poll right now, you guys. I want to know what do you think about that one? Bees 9, what do you think of that one? What do you think? Do you think they knew at all? The mission threw me off, too, and the timing is weird, but... Right. Well, here's the thing, too, is, if he was just hunting, he wouldn't be lucky. If he was waiting for two specific victims, he is lucky as hell. Because if he's hunting, he just wouldn't have, when I say lucky, I mean he's there waiting, and then there just happened to be nobody on the other side of the bridge or anything, and so he was really fortunate if he was there specifically for Abby and Libby. If he was there, let's say, if he was there specifically for Abby and Libby, he would have been just incredibly lucky that there was nobody around. If he was hunting, they merely just would have been people that didn't fit into his trap, and he would have tried another time, right? They would have been like, oh, shoot, there was somebody else across. Yep, can't do it today. Makes you wonder if he'd been out there other times. So there's kind of that element. I mean, absolutely pure luck. Either way, there's luck, but if you're hunting, you would just say, today was another day I wasn't able to. But if it was like he knew they were going to be there, then man, it's still lucky. I mean, it's even, it's just as lucky, same thing. Anyways, what do we got up there? So 72% say yes, that he was there. That's a pretty big number, isn't it? Anyways, hey, thanks for letting me be an ass sometimes, you guys, and being okay with it. Sometimes I just get I'm just so flustered by, I mean, if you guys saw all the shit I read and that people send me all day long, just sometimes it's like a stressful day, Yeah. He wasn't hunting He was looking at fish. Well, you know what's even weirder? As one of these guys said the other day, he said, oh, no, Brad Heath. He was the guy that saw the other car parked there. In his interview, he said, yeah, I saw this guy catfishing at the bridge, and I was like, oh my God, what an unfortunate term. Yes, I get it. Yep, I get that there was probably somebody, you know, fishing for catfish, but so look at that. 71%, right? That's a pretty big number. Right? Yeah, and that's definitely possible. He knew the trails. I just said that a minute ago. He may have gone there multiple times trying to hunt for a victim, and this was the day that it all came into, and he was willing to risk the fact that there was 2 girls because it doesn't happen very often. Richard Allen had the day off that day. It was a Monday. You know, he was at the trails. Did he know that there was a school day off and thought maybe there was kids going to be there, or was it just a Monday and perhaps Betsy Blair was going to be a target? Who knows? But man, it almost feels like he knew that Abby and Libby were actually going to cross the bridge. Doesn't it feel that way? Like he knew that they were actually going to cross the bridge. So he gave them their space to let them get on the bridge, knowing they were going to go across. And you just sort of wonder if it was said in some message somewhere that, hey, we're going to go to the bridge, we're going to go across the bridge, you know? It's weird. Or he just could have got lucky again, and because it seems like he knew, okay, down the hill and all that stuff, and he knew where he was going to be taking them. Pretty weird, right? Shit, I was about to leave a few minutes ago, and now it's 2:25, 2 hours and 25 minutes. Yep. Yeah, weird, right? So now we're at 67%, as the troll group out there made sure to send people over there just to put no in. You know how they always chuckle. Right now they're laughing. God, he always figures this out. Whenever you see a percentage change after it's sort of established, you know that it was at like 73, now it's 68. They're good for about 5 to 10 points. But after you know, there's so much more in that 198-page document. Reprobates. Season 2. Listen to Crime Scene 2. Courtroom Prison. Phone call from about 2 years ago. Crime Scene 2? What's that? I don't even know what that means. We had a podcast. What was that called? Scene of the Crime. Let's see. Sunshine Susie said, was the FBI involved at the time of Keegan? Yeah, let's see. Yes, I think. Yeah, because they were in 2020. Keegan Klein was arrested, I think. So yes, you nailed it. I wonder what the fallout was with the FBI. I think they got sort of tunnel vision or something, maybe. I don't know. Great. Listen to Crime Scene 2, Courtroom Prison phone call from 2 years ago about Richard Allen and Keegan Klein connection. I don't know. What does it say in it? Just tell us what it says. Okay, well, we don't pump up other channels in here, so. Let's see. Perhaps Libby filmed Bridge Guy because she realized she may have been catfished. I mean, they were in the same prison for a while, I think. But I don't know what. Well, we've heard stuff like, you know, that Richard Allen worked at the same plant that Tony Klein worked at, you know. I've heard that. No. And Rizzo. And even if it was, what does that have to do with anything? Maybe she thought it would be embarrassing for Libby or something. Yeah, see, you're not one of the Kelsey wackos that came over from that other channel, are you? I can't. Anytime anybody asks a question about Kelsey that sort of implies something, you guys are lunatics. Every one of you. Gray, that's mean. They just have another opinion. No, it's just true. You're a lunatic if you think Kelsey has anything to do with anything at all. You should be shunned and avoided by society. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Artie. It was somebody that worked with him at Walmart. Yeah, he said he was kind of creepy at work, and he would sort of look at girls and then sort of stand underneath them if they were on a ladder and weird shit like that. Yeah. Yeah, we've already, Susan already talked to that person. Or maybe that's a different person. I was talking about a friend at Walmart. Did he commit any similar crimes prior to this? I don't think so. Everyone always thinks that's a meaningful point in the case, you know. How does a guy that's never even been arrested before do this? Well, I don't know. Why don't you ask Dennis Rader? You know? Yeah, good. I hope people come forward. You know? Yeah, we said that, Mike. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Let's see. Oh, I know, isn't that scary? Powder packs. It's nuts over there. Yeah, we know Doug Carter dismissed the FBI. We know that. We were just talking about that. I don't think you heard my stomach because my stomach didn't make a noise right there. I would tell you. I always tell you. Oh, there goes my stomach again. Or at least I didn't hear it. That's all I can really say. Yeah, there always has to be a first time, as Sunshine Susie said. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, why don't you tell us what the connection was, Tammers? I do call in, but man, we're just, you know, you guys see it, right? When you do call-ins, it gets worse. So, seems most of these monsters lately are first-timers. The crying, I don't watch them. We bring... Crimes were up in 2017. A lot of people are unaware of the... What does that have to do with anything? Where have people like you come from? Man, you guys are insane. Oh my God, we got Odinist showing up in here. Whew, wow. Scary times, scary times. Yeah. Said in Aryan. Probably one of her brethren. I asked the same thing to the lunatics that blame Kelsey. They say Richard Allen couldn't have done this. He has no record, etc. I said, neither does Kelsey. They got mad at me. Yeah. Because it was too good of a rebuttal. That's why they couldn't handle. It was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Where did that come from? That one thing I had up on the screen. Oh yeah. I mean, what are you talking about, ginger peoples? I mean, what a weird. White supremacy crimes were up in 2017 and 18. A lot of people are unaware of the Aryan Brotherhood and the fact that some of these guys are Odinists. No, we're actually all really aware that some Aryan Brotherhood have hijacked Odinism. And yeah, we're all aware of that. We've talked about it on here when all that bullshit came out a long time ago, okay? And it's absolute garbage. Odinists had nothing to do with the Delphi case at all. Yes, they looked into that years ago, just because people were talking about it. So they looked into it, and they found no connection at all. Yeah, isn't that weird? Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, everybody. He is the killer. Wow. All right. Well, anyways, I think that's going to do it for me tonight, you guys. Thank you all for being here. Hit that like button on the way out if you could. Appreciate it. Just wanted to let people know out there that there's a connection, maybe, possibly, you know. There's definitely a logical connection, but there might not be a connection. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways, let's see. My 2 cents. Vanessa Dance. It is Amy Darcy Marie. Herbert Landscaping. It is Amy Darcy Marie. Then On the Trail Kim, then Yorkshire Tea, then Rebecca Nolan, then Quizzical Girl, then Wendy Van Rokel, then, let's see, Long Island Hillbilly. Actually, let me go up here. I'll do it from up here. There we go. My 2 cents. Vanessa Dance. It's Amy Darcy Marie. Cheers for common sense. That's right. Common sense won the day again, everybody. Common sense. Herbert Landscaping. Then it's Amy Darcy Marie. Then On the Trail Kim. And then Yorkshire Tea. And Rebecca Nolan. Quizzical Girl. And thank you guys all very much. Appreciate it. What does the Delphi gag order cover? It just means you can't really talk about the case with people. At all, really. I mean, kind of sucks for the family. Long Island Hillbilly. He's guilty. There were too many coincidences to be coincidental. Then we got Megan Holiday. We got Kimberly Faith. And Andrew James. Allen was parked at the CPS for 2.5 hours, but no witnesses saw a black compact car. Well, they saw other compact cars, dark compact cars. They just didn't say black. Just like one of the girls said that Richard Allen was wearing all black, but he wasn't wearing all black. But when they saw the picture, they go, oh, yep, that's the one I saw. So then it makes you have this moment where you're like, dang. Then Herbert Landscaping gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Rhonda Pierce. Little old me, why so much push on your viewers to pay constantly? Well, I'm trying to get people to support the channel on a regular basis. It gets really, like, disheartening when you're doing 35, 40 minutes and there isn't one super chat that comes in, because it makes it feel like you're not doing something that people are enjoying or are appreciating or something like that, because, like I said before, when I do my show, the super chats are virtually the only income that comes in during the show. So if the show sucked, I would think, okay, well, I understand people, not supporting the channel, but when the show's decent or whatever, then it makes you feel shitty. That's it. What else do I tell you? CR's unique take, and also, this channel, you guys, the ad revenue and everything together, but I give away a lot of the money, and you hope that would mean something out there. That we actually make a difference in the true crime world, from a real, like actually making a difference. especially with our DNA fund. We've put 92,000 over the years into a DNA fund that's identified many multiple Jane and John Does where they get their name back. And we've got some that we're working on currently. So you guys will all get to hear about those as well. Even though that's not popular or cool, you know, nobody. It's amazing how we actually solved the name of a serial killer victim, and you didn't hear a buzz from not one peep from anybody else in the true crime world, because they aren't doing those kinds of things, and it makes them look bad. Anyways, thanks Carolina T, and thank you Herbert Landscaping. Works like this. He was replying to that troll comment that I was reading a minute ago. Hillbilly Belinda, if Richard Allen, God forbid, gets a new trial, all the prosecutors need to ask is, in the last 5 years since Allen has been in jail, has he ever eat poop again? Andrew James, you've seen the crime scene images. In my opinion, it was staging. Yeah, well, they moved the bodies. I don't think their arms or anything like that were staged. Abby was cold. That's why her hands were the way they were. Long Island Hillbilly, because he brought a box cutter and a gun, do you think he planned to kill them from the start? Yep, I do. CR's unique take. Wendy Van Rokel. The gag order Judge Gould put on the case, does it only cover the jurors? Hey, wow, thanks Vivacious Val and Zach. That was very kind of you guys. Finally, justice for Libby Nabby. Then we've got Sunshine Susie. They do not deter this group. Justice for Abby and Libby. That's true. So here's the thing, everybody. I'm never going to. I mean, I'm older now. I'm almost 60 years old. I know I look 20. Okay, but the thing is I'm just me, and I'm never going to lose integrity in the cases that I cover just to try to get more viewers. Okay, I'm always going to put out the information the same way. You know, try to get the facts of the case and put it together. Sometimes you have to rely on reporting on, you know, active cases that are just kind of going on until there's an arrest made. Then you get a probable cause document. Then you can put it all together. But you'll never have to feel like, oh my God, great, geez, I was embarrassed that you covered that. You know, you said it like, you know, it just is what it is, man. And by the way, the freaks have been out a long time. The Delphi case, to me, was really obvious. Simple case. The jury obviously saw it the same way. You know, simple case, really basic. And we've done other cases out here where I was the only person in the entire true crime community, basically, who believed a certain thing based on the evidence. And when it was all the dust settled, boom. Nailed it. Debbie Collier is a good example of that. Kanika Jenkins is a good example of that. Both of those cases, I went against the entire community, and I didn't care, because when you know that you're onto something and it's correct, you're not going to cave in just to be part of a group of people. You got to stick with it. And those are two examples, but there's many more out there. I would say the one case that, you know, your instinctual thoughts that I use as an example of sometimes doesn't work to use common sense, was the one where there was this Hispanic lady. I think they were both sort of like migrant worker types, but she was a Hispanic lady. She was pregnant. And then her husband's like, hey, where, you know, they show her on surveillance walking away. And I was thinking, okay, maybe it's like the baby's somebody else's and the husband, you know, we're just kind of theorizing, right? And then it turns out, when it's all said and done, that she actually saw an ad on Facebook and went over to buy a crib at a lady's house, then the lady strangled her from behind and then with a knife cut the baby out and then, you know, tried to go to the hospital. And I can't remember if the baby was still live. I thought it lived or something. I can't remember how it all worked out. Oh, and by the way, in that same case, while they're looking for this lady and her baby, they find a baby on top of a garbage can. It was so crazy. And it was alive, that baby. It was on top of a garbage can. So we thought, oh, okay, that's got to be the baby. And it wasn't. It was just some totally random other thing. But man, that was crazy. I can't remember what the outcome of it was. Like, did the baby live? She went to the hospital. This other lady went to the hospital and tried to pretend that she had just given birth. It was just absolutely crazy, man. Unbelievable story there. So that one, who in the hell could predict that? You know what I mean? That's just one of those ones where, okay, I gave it a shot, you know. But man, it was just ridiculous. Where are we at here? I think I see. Oh, is that the one that just came in, or no? I think I was. Oh, there it is. Right here, and then this one. Mindy, it seems like Richard Allen's mental health deteriorated to poop eating when his wife and mom wouldn't believe his confessions. Right. See, I was saying in my video earlier today, I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I think a psychologist out there could make a case that Richard Allen's mental decline happened when his family and lawyers wouldn't accept his confession. Yeah. And then Quizzy Gal, oh, there was my stomach. So maybe you did hear my stomach a minute ago. It did make a little ear sound. And then Hedgy Mum. I was looking at that. Hedgy Mum, and on the left side is a little, one of those hedgehogs. I don't know why that made me laugh, but why did he do it? Did he plan this specific targeting them? Yeah, see, that's the thing. We don't know about that part. Do you think he has committed similar crimes? Did you guys notice up above the percentage got even lower because the trolls came over? Because usually if you have the same percentage going, it's just going to keep the same. Yeah, we heard that, Zach. Yeah, we heard that. Yeah, and there's another one just jumped on right at the end there. Yeah, I've done Missy Beavers. Yeah. That one just gets old after a while. Hillbilly Belinda. Could you imagine if the jury wasn't sequestered? Oh, God. Yes. And I think that's why, if they were out there listening to these nut jobs on the internet, yeah, they probably would have been a hung jury, or worse even. CR's unique take. DTS thought it was funny you said, not sure who that is, Richard Allen has psychic ability, whilst, whilst be so-called psychotic seeing the white van. Right. There goes my stomach again. DTS. What is that? I don't know what that means. Never heard of it. Let's see. We got Long Island Hillbilly. Will you present your timeline map evidence to the prosecution for the appeal? Well, if they want to, I need to have them give me a whole bunch more information. Then I gifted 5 memberships. Then we have Andrew James. What's the time gap between the 3 girls, the Sawbridge guy, and Betsy Blair spotted the guy? I think probably like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so, or something like that. Maybe 20 minutes. 3:34. No, actually, Betsy Blair, yeah, so it would be something like that. Because she got there, so let's say it was like 3:33. And then Betsy Blair gets out of her car at 1:47. I mean, he gets 1:33 and then 1:47, 6 minutes, probably like 20 minutes. Mike Holing, when you're going to start back on Koberger? I'm in Indianapolis and I've followed that case closely. Looking forward to watching that one with you. Yep. Yeah, well, definitely. Did you ever watch my stuff, Mike? Or that case is full of the same nut jobs, the same wackadoodle, conspiracy, crazy people, and that's how you know, right? See, here's what's interesting. I was telling people, let's say you were just starting to watch one of these channels, and this is the first case you covered, and you didn't know the case, but you believed them because you thought, oh, they're a YouTuber. Hey, that's awesome. Yay. And that's all you would know. But if you're somebody that knew the case and you listened to them, they're ridiculous. And then you go back and watch, like, let's say you were watching them before and you didn't know the case, you would have believed what they said. But I have two opportunities. So, like, I know this one YouTuber who is a conspiracy nut job in the Delphi case and is exactly the same way in the Koberger case. So I knew prior to the Delphi case that she was going to cover it exactly the same way because that's all she does on any case. There's always some crazy, oh, look at this, and it's just insane, all right? But you know what? I guess YouTube's for entertainment. I kind of think of it more like we're out there trying to, you know, put the pieces together to put out the accurate information and try to make a difference. Mike Halling, they all have the same eyes. Look at Richard Allen's eyes, Koberger's eyes. Throw Jody Arias in there. Kevin Copeland, you previously reviewed what appeared to be a handwritten police notes from a search of Richard Allen's home. Do you recall what was found in the memory box? Oh, I think there was a bullet in there, a .40 caliber bullet, Kevin. Sunshine Susie, what were all those cardboard posters outside the courtroom? Why allowed? It's called the Wall of Shame. Winnie Van Rokel, if Richard Allen partook in CSAM, I'm afraid he sold his crime. Yeah, I mean, that was the theory we had a long time ago. DW Dog, it's hard to believe Richard Allen did not know Kegan Kline. It is. It's crazy. Tara gifted 1 membership. Thank you. Then we've got Bama Girl 41. I haven't seen Bama forever. Where'd she go? Bama Girl 41 gifted 1 Gray Hughes Investigates membership. Karen was off to bed. Good night. And Sandy Shirley gifted 5. Very cool, very cool. Then we had Shay, a super sticker. My 2 cents, how long after KK's arrest was Rick arrested? Let's see. I think like a year and a half or so, you know. Just throwing it out there. Just giving you my 2 cents. Sunshine Susie, was the FBI involved at the time of KK's arrest? Was the FBI involved at the time? Yes. There's a first time, people. Blue Line King 7. Gray, curious if you think this was Richard Allen's first crime. I don't. He might have committed a crime before, but he was never caught. So I just think, you know, I don't know if he killed anybody before. I don't believe that. I think he actually had remorse. I mean, I think his behavior in the, you know, when he was in prison is absolutely indicative of somebody who, he did it the first time and it probably ate him alive. That's why he looks so different. He turned into, like I always say, Golem. You know, Schmeagol into Golem over the years. looked totally normal, and then 5 years later, looks like a shell of that person. And I think I think even in the way Abby was found, it looked like he let her dress again, and then he said, you know what, out of his own selfishness, he killed him anyways, because he wanted to protect himself. And so that's what I think. It doesn't make him a good person. It just means that, maybe he's not like this, like a psychopath or something like that. Vivacious Val, keep bringing them home through DNA freaks. There you go, boom. Yeah, that's one of the coolest things that we do here. Unfortunately, people don't really get it. So, hey, thanks, Zach. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, he's just a. I mean, imagine your first kill is just like, oh man, I'm killing because I don't want to get caught too, and then you're literally killing these two girls. You're just a sick bastard, man. Probably made it a little easier by having those 3 beers, pounding them down, got out there, and I think that's exactly why on the 15th, when the image of Richard Allen was put out to the media, that's exactly why the very next day he called the tip line, or didn't call it, he went in to put his tip in. He probably thought they were going to arrest him right then, but they didn't. Then a couple days later, they actually, one of them meets him, but he won't meet at the station nor his house. Probably doesn't want his wife to know. And his wife didn't know that he was on the bridge that day. Then he probably sat at home going, damn, when's my phone? When are they coming over? When do they come over? And then for 5 years he sat there. I'm just going to tell you this. This is the truth. Without Libby's video, this case would never have been solved. And if you think about it like this, the fact that he came forward was because the image was put in the media. Other than that, he would never have come forward. And there'd be nothing. Because there wouldn't be the Dan Doolin 1:30 to 3:30, that he saw 3 girls, any of that stuff. None of that would be in existence. I mean, it is crazy. So Libby's video is, I mean, how true it was when they said that is like, she's gonna solve the case, because that's exactly what it does. There would be nothing to ever have led back, because think about what you'd have, like without Libby's video. Just think about it for a second. You would have so Richard Allen wouldn't have come forward. So take the Dan Doolin situation out. Now the Burkharts of the world, etc., they'll believe that Richard Allen, no, he was just doing the right thing. He would have come forward anyway. No, he wouldn't have. He saw his picture. They said, we want to talk to this person to see what they see, or what they saw out there. And guess what? The next day he calls them up, doing exactly what they wanted. Or he goes in. He didn't call anybody. He went in and reported it. So let's just try to look at it real quick. I know I was going to get out of here, but now I got to do this. All right, so now you look at it like this. There's no 1:30 to 3:30. I mean, really just look at it like it's crazy what you don't have in it. Because he basically said he parked at the abandoned CPS building. You wouldn't have had that. He said when he got to the Freedom Bridge, he passed 3 girls, so that places him right here. And then he said he went to the Monenhigh Bridge because he never would have been interviewed later. Right? Richard Allen would have had to commit a crime. This is what would have had to happen. He would have had to commit a crime with a gun, or any kind of felony where they found his gun and then they say, hey, let's test that .40 caliber. Oh, and it looks like it was ejected from his gun. But what else would they have there? He didn't even tell Dan Doolin what he was wearing, right? So the thing is and why, by the way, why didn't Dan Doolin ask that question? Like, hey, what were you wearing, Richard? Now, was this you right here? Man, I think there'd be almost zero chance of this being solved unless he confessed to somebody on his own out there later. I think it wouldn't have been. Absolutely no chance. That video is the reason he came forward in the first. Let's just put it this way: without Dan Doolin, see, we're all hating on Dan Doolin because he didn't think about something later. But here's another thing: is if Dan Doolin didn't do the interview, well, I guess somebody would have done it. But let's just say if that interview doesn't exist, then none of this is happening. But I guess it's kind of weird because it's like, okay, he went into the tip line, he went into the station to turn himself in because he saw the picture. So you got to look at the case as if he never turned himself in. That means there'd be no Dan Doolin, which is an absolutely huge interview, even though for some reason it took 5.5 years to find it. And it's a huge interview. And I think if somebody was more, what do you call it? Aggressive or whatever, they went, oh man, this is interesting, and turned it in, there would have been an arrest in this case in, let's see, in 6 days. Just like they thought there was going to be. Hey, thanks Norm Scanlon. Thank you, Gray. Great job. The animation, the drone footage, and the common sense. Terrific. Well, there you go. See, everybody? People like that. Yeah, and I'm just trying to think through that. That's bizarre, man. You'd still have the vehicles driving by. The Hoosier Harvest Store, they still had that. They had Betsy Blair. They had... But there'd be no way to say who the who was. You get it? That's what's so amazing about it. You remember how at the beginning of the show I went through and I said, these are the questions they had before Richard Allen. And all the questions that they had, every single one of them, were these blanks. And they knew, though, that Betsy Blair and the 3 girls saw the same guy, and that Betsy Blair passed Abby and Libby, and then that person, and then Abby and Libby would therefore run into that person. They didn't know who that was. And without Dan Doolin's interview, we would never know who that person was. Because that's exactly what sort of opened the floodgates. Finding Dan Doolin's interview. Now, that interview would not have existed, in my opinion, if, I use that word, if Dan Doolin's interview did not exist, there never would have been an arrest in this case, because that's what led to looking into Richard Allen, and he answered all those questions. How would they have got the... And it also gave you the 1:30 to 3:30 timeline, because eventually he changed the timeline to 12 to 1:30. But maybe he only changed that because he knew that he already had said that years earlier. So anyways, man, that is crazy, isn't it? Absolutely nuts. But I really appreciate you guys and all the support during this month and the trial, etc. It's been been a long, almost 8 years, really. 7 years and 9 months, almost to the day. Today's the 12th. Yeah, well, I'm hoping that one of the jurors or somebody watches the video, because I said, but nobody's watching it, so that one, it's going to not make it into any algorithm that they'll see. But after the show, you guys, if you want to go and watch the video that I put out earlier and maybe try to help it move along, that'd be great, share it, etc. It kind of goes through the case again, thanking the jurors, and, this is probably what they were looking at, etc. Admonish the crazy wackos out there. I mean, 12 to 0, you guys, in 17 hours. That's pretty resounding, right? I mean, that's just... So, anyways, thank you guys all very much for being here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow, and I appreciate all of you guys. I know sometimes I get cranky, whatever. I do shows every single day, so you get to see me good, bad, and the ugly. All right? Doesn't matter. But, I do understand that some days I'm not in a great mood. It just is what it is, But, I think all of you, everybody's awesome. I mean, it's been so cool. I love all the support you guys have given me, even in the comment sections of like the Court TV videos. A lot of you have gone over there and say, "What you to the trolls that just show up in droves." You guys are like, "What the hell are you talking about? He nailed this case." And I was like, "Oh man, it feels so good to have people say that." Yeah, remember that? SRM? Oh, Grant Hughes investigates. Remember how you received a whole lot of negative feedback from the true crime community for your opinion on Debbie Collier? Yeah, exactly. I just mentioned that a minute ago. It was, it sucked. Even my own freaks in here, right? Put a 1 if you're one of the freaks that was like, "Oh, come on, Gray. Jesus, she took her own life? Come on." And then even when I was told that an item was missing, we go over it again and I go, "God, you guys, it still sounds like she did it herself." And then it turns out they found that item later. They found that same item. Yeah, right, Mary? The rest of the people won't admit it, though. They won't admit it. If KK was in there, she put 19 ones in there. And she'll tell you, there's still something weird about that one. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yep. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And, as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Hey, welcome, Brittany.
Crime dissector, thug rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
Fool deflector, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
On his pector, with all respect.
Hey, good night, Pamela.
Just remember, I've a temple fucking
Good night, Pamela girl.
I have no
Agenda.
agenda. I'm no pretender.
And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right,
Cry?
everybody.
Who the hell's crying? What are you talking about? RA is BG. Don't cry, Gray. It'll detract from your reputation. Man, I wasn't even close to crying. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. All right, you guys. Thank you very much. And be safe out there.